Whoa, that's loud. I'm gonna kill that quietly. All right. So, first stream, things are going to get interesting. I have done minimal, I've done a lot of testing over a long time. I've been trying to put this together for months, and I've been trying to come up with something that I thought was unique and different. I don't want to do what everyone else is doing, and I think people are nailing it. So, I'm going to do my video edits live herein. I will be using Premiere. So, everything I do, everything you see in any of the videos is either a combination of After Effects, Photoshop, or Adobe Premiere. The whole thing, end to end, comes from the Adobe Suite. It's not the cheapest way of doing things. There's other ways. Don't think of it as necessary. Everything we show here is more going to be trips, techniques. I want to show how I do some things with audio and some subtleties that come into it. So I have a video that I've shot. I don't know if I'm going to publish it except to show people the outcome here. I'm not super happy with it. I want to reshoot it, but I didn't want that to be a barrier for this. So let's set up. All right. So empty Adobe Premiere project. Any questions as we go? I'm presuming some prior knowledge here. You can ask them in chat, and I'll try and pause and repeat things. Anytime you see something go full screen like this, in Adobe, when you're in Premiere, you can hit tilde and make things large screen. So I'm going to be doing that a lot for the benefit of the stream. It might make it a little hard to follow if you're not familiar with that. So just keep in mind, anytime we're doing something on a timeline, we're going to full screen it as we go. It's just, I'm hoping make things a little easier to see. Also, I need to learn to keep up with chat as we go. I usually do this very solo. So there's a few bad habits I have that I'm going to aim to tell you as I go. I'm probably not going to break them live. The first one, I do everything on one timeline. There's a technique to video editing I've learnt by doing this myself. Having Katie here, she might pick up on some of the bad habits and be like, oh, you shouldn't do that. Feel free to call it in chat. Sequence nesting is what you should be doing. I'm not good at that. So to that end, we're going to create a new bin. So a bin is basically a folder in a Premiere project. And we're going to first import all of our assets. So I organize myself in this way. I'm sure there's other ways to do it. I'm self-taught. So anyone who's got a better technique, throw it in chat. I'll aim to learn about it after and do this a little bit different. And so I can't pronounce your name, Sonoma. I can't add super chat yet. I'm about 100 hours short. Not many, but as we get along, I'll do that. So, but I'm not doing this for the expectation of donation. So the pure drive for me in doing this, I get asked a lot about video editing in general, and I want something on my channel to refer people to, and I figured this is the best way to do it. So I'm a little nervous about it too, because it's a tough thing to do live. Yeah, I record in. This is better than my normal web takes, Katie. So I pre-prepped a bit. So what I've done is I've shot my different scenes, and I've got 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 just to organize it. So I'm going to import this into a bin. So you have your Adobe Premiere project, and you have bins, which are basically folders to organize under it. So the first step that I always have is come into the project and just organize myself. So if I go back to the project, you see I've now got my main bin. I'm going to create another bin for transitions. So I have some pre-built, so I can reuse them each time without... A lot of what I do in Premiere uses After Effects Essential Graphics. The trouble with Essential Graphics is that they can only render with the CPU. You can't use GPU rendering, and it slows you down a lot. And so to get around some of that, I've got some pre-rendered elements in an assets folder. So I'm going to bring in my transitions. So anywhere you see if I hover over it, you'll see what I mean. It's not doing a very good scrub. You'll see when I put it on a timeline, the logo animation I use between scene transitions, things like that. Instead of doing that with an essential graphic, I've pre-rendered it as a video with an alpha layer, so I can drop it on and not slow myself down each time. I also have that audio track that you'll hear on the background, which is here. I get all of these. If anyone's looking, I pay for a subscription to a site called Motion Array. I will quickly. So this site is called Motion Array. So I pay for subscription here. The essential graphics and all of the Kidengo callouts you see with Pentester Lab codes and things like that, they're all unique. But the a lot of what you would have seen in the video that Katie and I did with Live Overflow was from here. A lot of the glitch animations and things like that. I'll see if we can work some into this project. You can get them pre-built on this site. Same with the audio I use. The intro music I got from here. I'm in no way an audio engineer. So it's pretty useful. But let's go back to the right monitor. So we've got our main, we've got our transitions. We've accidentally put that. Oh, can't move it out. So I'll just put the music in the root level. So I only really use the music once, get the level where I want it for the audio that I've got, and I continue to put it across the timeline. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to splice the intro up. So Adobe Premiere is broken up into 3 distinct zones that I'm working in. We have... I will delete that. I'll make a sequence. So the timeline, the main timeline we have is called a sequence. When we go to render the project, we're rendering a sequence. So one of the bad habits I mentioned earlier that I have is I use a single sequence. I shouldn't be, and I should be nesting each scene into its own sequence. And the reason you do that is if you edit a scene and you want to move it earlier into a video, you can drag the whole sequence instead of moving all of the different elements that you've got. It doesn't really impact the kind of video style that I work with, because the difference in what I'm doing with this as a live stream, I've pre-shot everything. The way... Yeah, I should have worn a different shirt. That's a good point. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Saruba? I'm sorry if that's probably really butchering it. I did think of that and I forgot to do it because it's going to get a little confusing. If you've got... When we're starting to play and scrub footage, I'll lower the volume so we can speak over it. But basically, the way I tend to record something like the FFuff videos over a few weeks, I build it up. So I don't nest my sequences because of that. I'll record and I'll build it. I've got a few that I've been doing that with, and it allows me to move between projects and slowly progressively build something without exhausting myself on it. So the essence of that is a sequence. So when you render a video, you go outside of Adobe Premiere to Media Encoder and you select a sequence to render, and that's where you set everything up for YouTube and you pump it out. So we'll leave this as the main sequence. This top left is what we're previewing. And this other part here, if we play our sequence, this is the preview of the sequence, and this is the preview of what we're going to drag into the video itself, or the video layer. So if we drag the audio, we only move the audio down. If we drag the video, we just move the video down. And if we drag the main section, we drag everything down. So why isn't that? I will... So this is where the trouble being self-taught inexperience comes in. We will... Because it's only allowing me to drag the audio. I'm just going to rebuild the sequence. So I have a lot of... So I'm sure Katie can relate to this. When you're self-taught... Yeah, see, now I can't... I hate doing this live. When you're self-taught, you end up... sometimes I'm not fully understanding why something is, and depending on how quickly you work, you don't always have the experience to fix it. So if I go to there and change sequence settings, it is not doing it. If someone knows why that is doing, feel free to call me out on it, because that's frustrating me. Because I'm about to just reboot the project. Something with how I'm creating the sequence too. Let's just kick the project, see what I can do. One sec. This is what I mean by bad habits. Yeah, I know you can, Katie. I'm trying to do it and it's not letting me do it. There's something with how I'm creating the sequence and it's just not allowing me to drag. So I'm just recreating the project. I've done something funny. Yeah, so you should get the change sequence button, right? It's not doing it, and I don't know why. Well, it's got to be in these settings, but that shouldn't matter because it should tell me to change the sequence settings, not just do audio. That must just... see, doing it live, right? I've never had this problem and now I get it. TV power. One sec, I'm gonna hit Google. Can't drag video. Onto sequence. Track header, make sure V1. Yeah, they're patched. Okay. V1, V2, V3. Well, we can always open another project and compare. One sec. Now it's locking up. Wonderful. I have a mate that I sometimes have helped me. I'm going to ping if this doesn't work. Let's have a look. So if we open Recon Fundamentals, we can have a look at why. Which is the last one. That'll be the last one. Rework. I did this video twice, so I've got 2 project files. Just because I wasn't fully happy with the first one, I just started it from scratch. So that is not the, that is the rework. What is the difference in this? Look, let's just upcycle this project so we can keep things moving, and I'll figure this out in post and tweet it. Alright. So that's more like what it should be. There we go. Alright. That wasn't the rework either. Main. Cool. Alright. So let's do it. Let's start to build this up. So we're going to go to pre-release, beginning bug classes, cut. So my cut folder is everything. Whoop, got to create the bin. So new bin. New bin. See, I'm getting nervous. I need to pause for a second. I don't do things live very well, it seems, at the moment. Alright. So we're going to make a main bin. Main bin. F2 doesn't rename that too, it's really annoying. And import all of our primary footage. We're going to go back to the project and we're going to create a transitions bin, and we're going to put all our transitions there. I don't have to do this. You can put everything in the project at the top level if you want. But I'm at, Abboton, I'm not in Brizzy, I'm on the Gold Coast. That's like an insult. I'm like a city over. Hack Luke was in Brisbane, but close enough, close enough. If I go to my transitions, I don't have to put these in bins. I can choose, this is a habit I'm trying to build. So I can choose to put it all at the root level if I want to. I should show you the live overflow video at the end because it's literally at the root level because of the time I edited that in. It just makes it really messy, particularly with a live session. I want to have a bit more segregation so that it's clear when I full screen this where I'm working. So we can make these all a bit bigger as well to make it a little more visible for everything that we're doing. And then at the root level, we're just going to import our track, which we'll use later. And I think we're pretty much ready to start the edit now. So when we drag something up here, this creates a preview. When we drag it down onto... See, now that's not dragging onto the timeline. What the heck? Is this footage locked somewhere? I think it's something to do with my footage. That's incredibly frustrating. Why on earth is that? We're just going to redo the last edit otherwise. Yeah, weird. Oh, in and out? Yeah. Nope. Yeah, we'd still editing tricks if it was working. I need to figure this out. Alright. let's see if that works if I drag other footage. Is it my footage from this project or... No, I can't use the sequence at all. Why the heck is that? It is not locked. I will follow. I think I'm gonna open another project to cover some of that and just see if I can... I'm having problems getting... do an FFmpeg one-liner. I use Media Encoder. I'm having problems at the moment where I can't bring my footage on the timeline. I can't figure out why. It's unlocked. I've got my timeline there. If I drag the footage on, it'll still work. But I can't build upon it because it's not a sequence. And I don't understand enough to know how to fix it. It'll let me do the audio though. Alright, let's open a different project. I'll show you the live overflow one for reference and see if it's doing the same thing there if I try a different thing. This is a really messy project, by the way. I'm not a professional video editor. I do kind of fly by the wire and I grunt force it. So I grunt it together. So yeah, so drag and drop creates a sequence live overflow, but it's not... Yeah, maybe I need to restart my machine. It's not allowing me to drag any video in. Even when I've used a project sequence that worked before. So if I drag this footage, it's not letting me drag it in for some reason. Even onto an existing... Maybe I do need to restart. Let's restart Premiere. That's probably what it's going to come down to. Yeah, now it's crashing. Okay. Drag and drop. Yeah, so it should create a sequence too. I love it. No idea how to fix it. It's a problem. Yeah, you're right. The sound source is broken too. Let me just make sure that there's no process still running. I do have encoder running also. I'll close that. I'm probably just hitting issues because I've got encoder, OBS, Chrome. Although I'm still at a good... Yeah. Let us try again. See, this is the fun of it when things crash or don't work, is the reality of video editing. I will open the live overflow one because I think it's interesting to see as well. And if I can't do the timeline, I can show off how that works and figure it out for next time. Gosh, it's kind of slow now. Alright, so here's my sequence. This is what I mean by I have bad habits. I don't nest sequences. This video is a very good example of that. Can I drag? I still can't drag video footage on. Why the heck is that? Hang on. Why? Track. All 4 blue boxes should be enabled. They are enabled. This is what I mean by essential graphics. I think I've spoken to you about this before, Live Overflow. There's a culmination. I'll zoom into it. I use a combination of them with variables. So you can use JavaScript in After Effects, create variables for your essential graphics, render them, and use them repeatedly here, which works really well. Enable hardware acceleration. I have to do a whole thing with my media cache folders. That doesn't seem right. Katie, when you had this problem, did you have to clear all your media cache and then redo it? Because that's what everyone's telling me to do. You know what? I'll use the beta. We'll see if it works there. That sometimes comes up, but it does crash a lot more. It's a good time for Premiere to have issues for me. Daniel, I do use Linux. You try doing video editing on Linux. Good luck with that. Alright, let's try. I'm gonna drag this in. So if all else fails, we can go to the beta and see what happens. YouTube, release, overflow, yeah. Yeah, wallpaper is pretty intentional. Yeah, so the converting would make sense, except I'm trying to drag footage that I've used previously on a time zone. See, I can't drag it into a timeline, even though I used it on this timeline before. So that doesn't really... Oh no, I can. Alright, so there's something up with... It's just certain footage I can't do with. That's annoying. That's interesting. So if I import pre-release, I can use it here. Okay, so that has fixed it. So the beta, using the beta's fixed it. So let's go to a new project and see if that's hitting the wrong things. We'll go to a new project and see if we can start from there. Or actually, we'll open the other project and hopefully it's not forked. 34. Oh yeah. The problems with Premiere. So if I import a single file, can I then use it? I still can't use it there. Waiting for it to load. Oh, come on, it's just lagging. Yeah, I think I've got to restart at some point. Which I'm trying to avoid. I usually... Yeah, alright, we'll just... butcher this timeline, I guess, in the interest of the stream. We will go... Come on. Alright. That didn't put it, but we can go to the beginning and see if we can do it. Alright, we can do it. Alright, so we're just going to start with this. So the beta I have set up a little differently, but the concept's the same. I just have effect controls here, which we'll get into as we go. When you build your bin, you bring in your footage, you can drag it into this preview section. When we drag the video, it brings the video and the audio down. You see this video icon here. This video icon, it doesn't make the icon bigger. Okay, there's a video icon there. You can drag just the video. You'll notice it's not dragging the audio. It's going very slow. I've definitely got performance issues I'll have to fix before next time. And if I drag the audio, it just brings in the audio. The best way I find is to put this up here. There's two shortcuts that I use, I and O, input and output. Yeah, it's a good trick. It's Justin Odisha, I think, is the main YouTuber that I watched a lot of his footage to learn some of these tricks. I'm entirely self-taught, so there's probably better ways to do some of this too, but I use I and O, so input and output. So what I'm doing is I'm going to go to the preview, I can shoot it, and I might shoot, there'll be errors in the beginning and things like that. I mark the input and the output, and when I drag it in, it's only going to mark where I've dragged. So if you see, if I go input, it now is saying the whole timeline. If I go to that point and I go output, it's now saying that. If I drag it in, if I zoom out of the timeline. So I'm using Alt, holding down Alt and scroll wheeling to come in and out of the timeline here. But it's only taken this portion here when I do that. So I can shoot my footage in OBS, make it raw, make a long piece of footage. You know, I might shoot the whole thing in one take and then input and output as I go. I try and not do one take because it's hard to organize. I did that for a long time. And then the icons here that you see, down the layer, no, across here. S is magnet, so I'm toggling S, and we'll get into that. So, it's so annoying that I've got this long lag when I drag stuff, because I can't show things as quickly. Alright, so if I drag this, you see how it's snapping to that one? Sorry, it's not now. If I press S, you'll see the magnet comes on. I'll wait for it to come up. So you see the magnet's lit up. When the magnet is lit up, and I press... So V is just cursor. A, when you click it, selects everything to the right. So if I go V, I've got the magnet, it's snapping to it. You don't always want to do that. Sometimes you want to get a bit more fine detailed. There's a thing called a J-cut, where you'll layer tracks closely to each other. And so you've got one track playing, but the audio for the next track comes in before it. I recommend learning that if you're going to get into video editing. It's one of the main tricks to keep the user engaged, is a J-cut. But if I press S, it turns the magnet off. So when I turn the magnet off, I can now drag this on top of this track. I don't have any snapping happening. And it can be useful to just toggle with the keyboard if you want to position things a lot easier, which we'll see when we start to bring in graphics and things like that. So... I'm going to take the intro out. This is the part I'm not sure how it's going to work. If you get repeat music, let me know and I'll mute the music for this. But what I'm going to do is well, if it lets me scrub. So scrubbing is when you're progressively moving across a timeline. And it's not doing that very usefully at the moment. All right, so I'm just going to hit space. I'm going to find my input point. One trick that's useful for that, if I click the audio, I usually try and find the first point where I start talking to start, and then I check that it's right on the preview. And that'll also let me identify, you know, you'll hear this sound a lot. I have a habit with poker chips in front of me, and I will move them for this, but I often forget when I'm recording. It's like I played professional poker for years, and it's just a thing I do, but it means that sometimes I find it in footage, and I've got to clean it out of the footage. Which is a pain. I don't recommend it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the first point where it looks like we're talking, and I'm going to go I. I'm just going to play that to make sure that wasn't this sound. Sometimes if I accidentally tap the mic, or sometimes I like do things in the beginning just to get my head in the game, I need to cut them out at this point. So if I go back to the video, you can see it's a clap there. It's probably that. Okay. So I could probably start it at that point safely because that's a second, right? So I'll go back to this and we can play it.
A video that at some point every YouTuber has to create. What is the advice if you want to get into bug bounties? I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to keep it short because I think that this is more about pointing your journey than establishing it.
And so see that I'll pause there. I'll go O. And I might refine that. So I'll come back to the audio and I could tighten it up and I can go O there. I don't have to, because I can see on the audio transition where I stopped talking, and that's the point I can cut. That takes out eye blinks. I have a bad habit that I often edit out where I'll put my hand down to the mouse or the keyboard, or I'll go to stop OBS too early. And just for chat, I don't actually know what you mean by a clapper. Katie, I have to research that. I genuinely don't know what you mean. Which is interesting, but yeah. So we now know where the video is at. So we've got it in, we've got it out. This is the intro. So I'm going to drag it in. Something that I do straight away after I've done that, and assuming the audio well, it's still processing, that's why, is I normalize the audio. So recording at different times of the day, I tend to do my videos in bursts, and recording on different days, this mic sounds completely different here to here to here to here. And it's jarring if that comes into a video. So what I do is I click the clip, I press G, and I go normalize all peaks to -3 decibels. That flattens my track. So the live overflow video, I got footage from a bunch of different creators and I had to normalize it. So I did tricks like this, manipulating the gain, normalizing peaks, and that allows consistency. So you can zoom right in, look at the audio and create consistency. But I do for my own videos, because I'm usually the same baritone voice, the same thing. To do it simply, I just normalize peaks to -3 decibels. And I don't remember how I landed on -3. Casey, Bugcrowd founder Casey, knows a lot about audio and told me that, and I researched it somewhere, but I don't remember the exact resource. I know that's a fairly standard point to peak your track. So if you listen to it now,
YouTuber has to create
versus this. Oh, see, this is Premiere going slow. I've already hit the play button. It's not doing it. Which makes it very hard to do a comparison. So I don't know if this comes through the streamer with the quality, but there's a peak difference. It's flattened it out. So it makes your voice smoother. It takes a lot of the jumps out of it. Keyboard, mouse, things like that. You basically take a lot of peaks out of everything. The engagement style I do, and I don't really have a reason for doing this, but the intro, I never do music. So the next thing I do a quick bite, and then I jump to the intro. I think I learnt that from you, Live Overflow. I used to do the intro first, and it was too jarring because my intro is too loud. And so I later on in the piece adjusted to doing quick intro video, the intro itself, and then I bring my audio, my backing track, and everything into the element. So my intro is an essential graphic. So to build it, I can drag, and you'll see if I maximize this, I have a bunch of essential graphics. If I'm doing anything more than once and I want to use it in future videos, it goes into After Effects, it becomes an essential graphic, gets variables wrapped around it, and I'm quicker next time. Like the last video, the line concepts are now all essential graphics. Anytime I do lines now, I've got effects and animations all around them. I've got bug crowd submission states because I put them in the bottom left, my code blocks and things like that. So what I'll do is I'll bring the intro in and drag it next to the track. And it did not bring the audio in, or is it still processing again? It didn't. Oh, that's my background. Sorry. Go intro with logo 1080p. So I'll bring the intro in. That brings my audio, everything in. I then have to flatten the audio. So if you listen to this, and a bit of a warning, it goes loud for a second. If you listen to the difference, it'll go from
pointing your journey, then establishing it.
All right, so really loud, right? So I need to flatten that out. I need to get that to be more consistent. You'll also note that I forget whatever I was going with that. Oh, the red line above here. So in Adobe Premiere, there's yellow lines and red lines. The red line means that I can only render this with the CPU. I can't render it with the GPU. The yellow line means it'll render with the GPU. So if I scrub the yellow timeline, if I play that, it's quick. If I play this, it's slow. So you can see I've already hit it, and it's just not smooth in real time. I can hit enter at any point, and whoop. Hit enter. Up. Nope. These bars here are the in and out for this area. Sorry. So wherever this is, so I can go in and out here as well. So if I go in and out, it'll only pre-render that area when I hit enter. But, and you can see that here. So it's pre-rendering it so I can play it smoothly and see what it's actually going to look like without rendering the whole video. You can see though, because it uses the CPU, it's very, very slow. This is like make a coffee, come back kind of slow. So I don't really have a need to do that on the intro. I know what my intro looks like, but I do need to get the audio balance right. So the first thing, we'll go to the settings, and I don't remember what I'm titling this video. I have to go to Twitter for this. All right, so beginner's bug bounty, where to begin? So I can go... Right, so I can do that, save, it'll now update the entire graphic. And I can override my background color. So before I used to just, I had this plan in my mind when I started videos and when I first planned this, that I would only do, 3 or 4 different backgrounds and that they would fit the type of video that it was. I realized pretty early on that that's something I would know, but my viewers would never know, and it's better to just mix up the background color and keep it more interesting. So I change it. I don't really have a ruling system for that. This one, let's just go red, see what it looks like. I don't really like that, actually. We'll go aqua. I haven't done that yet. Well, that'll do. Right. So it's going to set the background for me. And I've got other settings I've got if I want to tweak. So you'll see I'll sometimes hide social Pentester Lab codes in here. I do that with this. So I can go enable that. I can hide a Pentester Lab code there. And I can toggle my socials as well. And I tend to take my social out because it doesn't... Whoop, that didn't fully take it out. I tend to take socials out because my Twitch and Twitter don't match the rest of them. So it just bugs me if I put Getting Go there. So that's... Alright, the red looks more nice. I'll do the red. There we go. Let's just pick a nicer red. We'll meet in the middle there. I'll do more of a pastel-y red. I prefer that. We'll do that, alright? And so to change the audio level of the track, I don't have a prescribed way of doing this that I think is very good, but I'm pressing G again. I'm going to say adjust the gain. I'll drop it by 32. I think that's too quiet.
Establishing it.
Yeah, that's too quiet. So I'll undo that. And I'll drop it by -10. Native. So I just play around with it. I need to get to a point where I write this one down because I always land there and I never know which it is. So you can see now if I play the difference between the two there. I don't know how much of the output is coming through the stream too. So if you can't hear this, please put it in chat and I'll do some tweaking. But
this is more about pointing your journey than establishing it.
And this is too long, so I tend to cut it as well. It's alright, so I probably cut it there. So if I press C, it puts me into the cut mode. I'll Alt scroll wheel in. I'd like to cut it there because it gets too long. Otherwise, when it was first doing the FOF video and things like that, it's my first video. It made sense having a longer intro to give people time to process. I don't need to do that anymore. I can do more aggressive cuts. And so I treat this totally differently compared to when I started. So I now press V to go back to cursor, click that, and I delete it. And it's now modified it on the timeline. So the next phase is to get the next clip. And we're going to introduce that behind this. So if I go, I've got 0 in there, so I now need to go to 1, except it's now lock up again. And always save as well. Particularly, we're using the Adobe Premiere Beta at the moment. If you're using Essential Graphics heavily, you'll need to use the beta at the moment. A lot of the animated Essential Graphics that I use, you cannot do in the stable version of Adobe Premiere, so I do live in beta a lot. It's just not very... It's definitely beta, I'll put it that way. You wear all the bugs, and so I get in the habit of anytime I'm happy with a change, I commit it and I save it. Right, so... And OBS Studio, it's going to do the whole woo thing. I record everything in OBS. So I'm using OBS for this, so I can't record live, which is why I've pre-recorded. I think the Cybersec Mentor has a good thread with a bunch of OBS settings. I think it was him. Stoke shared it with me once. Katie or Live Overflow, you might know where this is. There's a... I'll try and find it after, but there's a good Twitter thread that he put together, or it might have been Heath Adams, but someone put together of these are the settings you should use, which I followed and I've just adjusted from there. The main things I've adjusted is audio pacing and things like that, just because I have a different microphone set up. So let's do the same process again. So we're going to drag number 1 up to the top left, which is the preview. We're first going to go to audio. We can see if we make this bigger as well, just to make things a little easier. We're pretty bang on with audio, so we don't need to adjust it. But we're going to go back to the video part and just play it.
All right. So let's break it down. I have a written piece to go with this, and I think I summed things up pretty well there, but not everybody learns in that way, so I wanted to do a video to pair it. This video is also being edited live on YouTube to help expose some of my flow and show video editing is very accessible. If you're interested in pursuing it, I recommend it. I'm going to try and do more of those streams when I do these shoots. This video is a little bit of a filler for that, just to make the first stream an easier one. That aside, let's jump into it.
All right, cool. So, Tech Blues, can you explain why Google Map API keys aren't considered valid on BugCrowd? There's a response you would have received if you submitted that. We spoke to Google about that. There's a lot of reasoning behind that, but not really appropriate for here. You can ask us on BugCrowd directly on the submission you've got for that. But cool. All right, so if we go back to there, we can snip this a little shorter. So if we go to the end and we'll snip it, not fully happy with the end bit either. So I'm probably going to cut that out and just see where that ended.
The first stream an easier one.
So I'm going to cut it there. So I don't like the let's jump into it thing and all that. So I'm going to cut it out. So I said it when I was recording. There's a lot of that happens where you kind of, you say something and you come to it in post and you just do some editing. So I'm going to drag the track in. And the same as before when it processes, it's so freaking slow. I really should have worn a different shirt for the stream. You'll see the audio now. This FX is gray, not yellow. So if I glance at my timeline, I can see, okay, I've normalized, you can see the yellow FX. I can be like, okay, I've normalized this audio, I've normalized this audio, I haven't normalized this. So before I call a project done, I'm going to scrub across my whole timeline. I'm going to see if I forgot to normalize something that I haven't picked up when I've played it back. I'm sure Katie and Live Overflow can attest here. You play your video back obsessively before that final market done, but you get a bit blind to some of these things. And so it's good to just look for visual indicators as well. So same as last time, I'm going to hit G, I'm going to normalize all peaks and make it -3. So that's now normalized the first track to the last one. And we don't have a very clean transition here. So if we play from the video to that, it's jarring, right? We want to create a step transition between the intro to the next video. So what we're going to do is we're going to go... Oh, Premiere's really not liking me at the moment. Let's just... I'm waiting for it. Hang on. All right. Let's try again. Project. Come on. This is where I feel nervous that I haven't saved. All right, I'm going to save first. Bin main. We haven't imported it, that's why. Let us import YouTube assets. I'm just going to do this the lazy way this time. We're going to import our transitions. So the way Adobe works, you've got these layers. So you've got audio and visual. The top upmost audio, all layers play at the same time. So if I have multiple audio layers layered on top of each other, they're all going to play at the same time. The same happens with video, but the one on the top is the layer that you're going to see. So you can stack and put elements on top of each other. So the way I do logos, if I've got my logo, if you remember before I said that S turns this magnet on and off, you'll see it snapping here. I don't want it to. So I'm going to press S and I can press that whilst I've got this dragged. I don't have to let this go, toggle that, but you'll see this magnet's now off. So I can very cleanly move this to where I need to. And so I'll play around with it to get it clean. And I don't have to go very tight with it, but I get a clean transition between the two. The little bit of a clever trick here that I do, that I stumbled into for my audio track. So I'm going to bring audio in now as well. I'll turn I'll turn the magnet back on because I now want to snap to the beginning of the scene for the music. I don't want to go partway through the intro because it's got its own. So you'll see now it's snapping. So I'll go to the beginning of the track. I'm going to normalize this to -32. But my track, I don't know if I can get in far enough to see this, has a peak when it starts. So I've picked a track that has a peak because what I can do at the beginning of each scene transition is put it there and play. All right. And you hear that like rise and then it goes into the track. So let's right, I'm going to probably make that -43. One sec. It's too loud. I don't know how much that's coming through.
Break it down.
Sorry, one sec.
All right.
Yeah. So you'll see I'm toggling. See how the effect's coming off because I'm going back and forth between undo and redo until I get the level where I want it. And these are the kind of things, as I get more into this, I learn where I'm always going to put that. So I know I'm always going to put a track at -3. I know -32 to 43 is always where I'm going to put my audio. And I'm finding a style, and I'm slowly back into a style that works with the assets that I've got. Don't emulate those directly. Try and find what's working with what you've picked. But you'll see that it does quite well. So, Apado. The top left, you'll see it doesn't actually matter. When we get there, we'll maximum. Well, OBS is Adobe's free to get. Nothing in the top left at the moment matters. And when things matter, we're going to toggle it up and down like that. So we can toggle. Same again. We can toggle the timeline. Or I'm trying to. It's going very slow. I need to obsessively save again. Alright, so I can... This is tilde. So anytime I hit tilde, it's full screening stuff. So that makes it easier for me to move and element things around. It's a really good trick just for editing in general, but particularly for this. For people looking for vouchers, I'm probably not going to put it in, like, predict when I'm going to put it in. I always do that randomly. So... Cool. Alright, so now we want to work out where we're going to put any callouts. So I'll play it back again.
So let's break it down. I have a written
Oh,
to go with it.
Actually, sorry, before we do that, you'll notice that I use the loop for my audio. So I need to hold down Alt. So I've got the magnet enabled to make sure things snap. I'm holding Alt right now, and I'll click and drag it, and that'll snap it. But I tend to move it past it, let go, and then snap it. Just so I don't... If you do audio wrong, you can end up like... So if I do that wrong, it'll layer. It's now cut the track, and I'm never going to realize until... Like, there's just no visual indicator to realize. So I've now got 2 of them. I can drag 2, copy 2, and do the same thing again. So to copy... Except that hasn't really snapped. There you go. So to copy a element in a Premiere, you just hold Alt and you drag it. You have to be holding Alt as you release. So we will look for a call out so I can show you essential graphics.
I think I summed things up pretty well there, but not everybody learns in that way. So I wanted to do a video to pair it. This video is also being edited live on YouTube to help expose some of my flow and show video.
All right, so that's probably a point where I would put a graphic, right? So let's do that to show. I'm gonna quickly knock something together on the side. One sec. So I'm just on the other monitor. Sorry. I will. There we go. All right. So let's just quickly make a graphic the laziest way possible because I don't have performance for Photoshop this second. I'll drag it out just to save that. We will put it in the folder. One sec. Let's go. 1 second. So many underprepared things for this. A lot of good learnings though. Alright. So, couple of things. Sorry, 1 sec. I'm just going to catch up on chat as I go. Cool. Alright, so I want to put a graphic at this point. So I have essential graphics. Where are they? Why am I not? Oh, there we go. So I have an image one that automatically does my glitch effect. There's a colored effect in, a colored effect out. You'll see. Actually, I will redo that and I'll full screen it. Sorry. All right. So if I full screen this, I go image. I'm dragging it on top of the existing video. There's no audio for this effect. I removed those early in the piece. I found audio on every effect was a bit jarring. It's something I see a lot of people when they first do YouTube do this. If you have an effect every single graphic and you don't make it really quiet, it's just too much and it just gets repetitive, and it gives, the way I've heard it best explained, it gives the user a reason to realize that they could be doing something else because they're watching it and then you get the effect and it's kind of like a jarring, am I still getting the same value? So we're going to quickly replace this graphic with the Twitter graphic. And so all of this you won't have in Premiere. This is all stuff built in After Effects to allow for reusage. But what it allows me to do is to put this somewhere. I don't know if it's going to work. And I would come back and tighten this around the graphic and around the element. But what I can do then, and I'll also do at the end, there's an effect called, actually I don't need to do it for this one, sorry. I'll often do for the socials, we'll go back, we'll do that as well, but I'll do a crossfade, which is whenever you see an element fade out, I'm crossfading it between the two tracks. So it comes up, does its thing, fades away. So now that we've got the essential graphic, if we play it, you can see it comes in.
Expose some of my flow and show video editing is very accessible. If you're interested in pursuing it, I recommend it. I'm going to try and do more.
Cool. So that does my effect in and out. So that's now done. The other part I need to do, which I do on every video, is I do my socials at the beginning. And I use this same essential graphic when I've got socials for other people that I'm talking about. I'm always trying to do citations a lot. So I can do Twitch, Twitter. And if you click in it, so you see how at the beginning of the track I didn't see it. I'm clicking into different points so I can see where this is. I'm going to put it there. I'm going to alt drag above it. Move it above, which I'm just doing with the keyboard. And I'm going to make this one my other socials. So I'll do a separate stream on After Effects and where this comes into it, because I think that's got a lot of value to people. And this one I just play around until I get the pacing right. And then at the end of these tracks, I'll go and I'll put a crossfade. So these don't have, sorry, a cross dissolve. These don't have an effect to fade them away. So instead of just having them disappear, which I used to do, and I when I sat down and reviewed my content, felt it wasn't the best. So I changed it to be a crossfade. So if I do that now, you'll see you get the effect.
So
the
let's break
socials
it
come in.
I have a written piece to go with this, and I think I summed things up pretty well there.
So I'm talking about the written piece. So I probably want to put an essential graphic in there. So I'm actually going to move my socials and do it there. So I might move those to here, and I'll just find a place at the end. Like when I do the watch at the end, I might move that again. But I want to do a link. So I want to do a link to the original part. So let's go find that place.
Go with this, and I think
so I do it there. So I have what's called a code block. When I did the well, actually I haven't released it yet. When I've done a Vim and an Axiom video that I'm still in the process of polishing, I've got a lot of code samples flying in and out to help reference that, and I use this code block for that. But you'll see it everywhere these days. Actually, it was first used in the FF video. There you go. One sec. So let me get my link from my blog, because I want to put that in here. So I know my height needs to be at 42 when it's like that. Oh no, it's got to be higher. It's 42 for the other one. And I'll do learn more. And so that's my essential graphic. That allows me to very quickly do that again. And I need to put a cross dissolve because this one doesn't fade out either. It's a lot of my earlier graphics don't have the coloring effects. They just disappear. And so for any of those, I cross dissolve. But what that means is now we've layered this. So when we play it,
I have a written piece to go with this, and I think I summed things up pretty well there, but not everybody learns in that way, so I wanted to do a video to pair it. This video is also being edited live on YouTube.
Alright, so you can see now we've got a problem, right? So this one's coming over the top. So what we're going to do is compress that to about there. So I just clicked and dragged the end of it. So what that means is the previous one's going to fade out, and then the other one's going to come in. So I've layered it a little bit better. And because of the size of the other one, we probably want to increase this a bit more, so they're similar. And so now we'll go back to the beginning, we'll play it. The unfortunate thing of streaming a live video edit is there's a lot of repeat play of the content. And if I can pause more, I need to, let me know. So we'll do that again. So if we go play.
And I think I summed things up pretty well there, but not everybody learns in that way, so I wanted to do a video to pair it. This video is also being edited live on YouTube to help expose some of my flow and show video editing is very accessible. If you're interested in pursuing it, I recommend it. I'm going to try and do more of those streams when I do these shoots. This video is a little bit of a...
Yeah, so the socials doesn't really make sense there, but we also don't have somewhere to put it. We'll probably put it on the outro at the end. But you see we're layering, we're building it up. So let us bring the next track in, which I've got to remember where we pinned it. All right, so there's different scenes to this one. So I've got new hackers, old hackers as two separate distinct scenes. So, and XSS right here, a lot of duplicate P5, P4. P5, P4 are always going to be a lot of duplicates. I've got a piece on the blog about that. Prashant, no, I'm doing a video edit. I do security videos. So I'm just editing the next video to show people how it's done, because I get that question a lot. I want something to refer to. But dupes, P4, P5, you're going to dupe a lot. Most P4, P5s, unless it's a new program, they've already been reported pretty much every day since the kickoff of the program. Your best bet is to look for things that have an impact. So companies care about resolving things that have an impact much quicker than they do P4, P5s. A lot of P4, P5s don't have a lot of value to a company. If it's a random subdomain, random top-level domain, and it's DMARC, it's a guaranteed dupe, almost certainly. The benefit you have with P4, P5 is if it's a net new program, there's a lot of ground you can cover quickly, but I would be trying to progress beyond them quickly. You cannot make consistent bug bounty return only looking for P4, P5s. It's a very, very harsh statement, but very, very true statement. So is what it is. But yeah, so that's a thing. All right, I'll put a code in a video to show you how to do that too, and then we can race for it. Make that fun. Let me just find a code. I have to check. I'm doing something with Pentest Lab. I gotta make sure I don't use that code. One sec, sorry. DXA. Okay, cool. So I'll change this before it goes live. Where is OBS and chat? Alright, so where would we hide this? Let's do the next track first, and then we'll hide it. I'm just waiting for it to catch up again. OBS is doing its thing, which is very annoying. All right, so new hackers. Let's drag that. And again. Cool. So first things first, same as before. Let's check the audio. Audio is pretty compressed. We can probably set the outro point there. Or maybe a bit closer. So I'm pressing tilde to full screen that. And so the outro there. Intro is pretty clean. I believe I wanted to cut this. I don't remember if this is the one. We'll play it.
Alright, so there's two ways to approach this. One, you're net new to security. You see bug bounties as an interesting way to grow your skill set and to establish yourself as a hacker. You want some sort of, you know, I mean, it's okay to be motivated by points on leaderboards and income and what have you. Whatever your motivation is, you're net new, you found this industry. Congratulations, it's awesome, and I'm happy to have you here. If that's the case, then Sturk put out a video this week. I suggest watching that to see all of the free resources out there and start there. And I also should suggest looking at his previous content in the Bounty Thursdays series that he does to get a bit of a feel for the culture of what happens in bug bounties, as well as the current bugs and vulnerabilities and things that are happening around the space. It's good to envelop yourself in that. But when you're looking for where to begin, be careful not to think just in bug classes. A lot of the time we can, and I made this mistake early too, we can go, okay, I'm going to learn everything about XSS, I'm just going to hunt XSS. The foundational problem with that is it teaches you to think about bug classes, not business impact, which will introduce bad habits in reporting, and it'll help you to lose impact. Ultimately, thinking in what matters to a business, how do I generate impact to a business? As you round out, you learn these different things. And if you're looking for a bug class to start with to help establish and explore that, my suggestion is largely to look at authorization-based vulnerabilities for a few core reasons. Largely, they scale with you as you become better as a hunter. They've got a technical and a business element, and they're really only valid in points where there's risk. An authorization vulnerability needs to demonstrate risk. If you can perform an action unauthenticated, you should perform authenticated, and it's sensitive in nature, that matters. And exploring these vulnerabilities will start to teach you what matters to a business, as well as the common mistakes that are made in this area. And they often don't dupe as high as something like XSS, simply because the impact is varied, but XSS, for whatever reason, gets misrepresented unfairly, and I think that largely comes down to how it's positioned. But I suggest strongly authorization-based vulnerabilities, but not getting too hung up on just thinking about that as a bug class. Try and round yourself out. Think about impact the whole of your journey. How do you create an impact? How do you leverage that impact to make it matter to a business?
All right, so I'm happy.
All right, so
this is probably really confusing to watch. I'm going to watch this back myself and look for some tricks. I think the principal one is probably wearing a different t-shirt to the one I pre-recorded with. So I'm happy with my in and out. So my, if I make it full screen, you can see I've set input output. So you can see this line here. So I'm pretty happy with where that's at. I'll go back to here and I'll drag this in. And I've got the magnet on again. So that's that S point. So it's going to just go slow because I got so many things running. Thank goodness I didn't do this stream with a VM as well, because I was going to and do notes as I went, but I think I have to do some work there. So social icons blow into this one, so we definitely want to fix that. So we're just going to move them out of the way for a minute. And we'll come back to that. I want to take... So I'm going to make this full screen and make it easier to see. So I've got this cut between the two. The first thing I need to do is normalize this track. So I press G. I go -3. And you can see the peaks between these two tracks are pretty similar now. If I undo that... Oh yeah, so Cutefish, I played professional poker for 7 years of my life. Before security and before software dev. Mostly online before the UIGEA and the IGA came into effect, which were laws that fundamentally make it impossible to play professional poker these days. Well, not for what you used to be able to make. So I've undone the normalization just so you can hear the difference. So I'll play this through, and where you see this line, you'll be able to hear the tracks aren't equal. So I'll just play this.
The first stream, easier one. Alright, so there's two ways.
Can't really hear it too well, to be honest, but trust me that if you look at it, I'm going to normalize all peaks, -3. Unfortunately, when it's high, let's make this bigger so we can... Alright. So that one's normalized, this one's not. So if I normalize the peaks, if you watch down here, the peaks of the track, it's adjusting it. So it's only a minor variation in this case, but if I do that to every track, I have consistency of audio. You see a lot of YouTubers, I don't mean this as a critique, this is a trick that's not the easiest to learn. It's easy when you know it. It's one of those, you don't know what you don't know, but once you know it, it's great. But you'll hear like audio doesn't stay consistent throughout all of the tracks, and that makes it very difficult to stay engaged. The other thing I'm going to do is hold down Alt, drag my transition from before, and I'm going to put it over the two. If I come out of the timeline to that point, so this preview here, you'll see it'll start the Buckcrust swag. I'll get you some Buckcrust swag. Drop me an inbox. I'm surprised we haven't dropped you a heap already, actually. At Aberdeen. So PC spec, I don't remember for this machine. I've got 3 on this desk. This isn't my principal work machine, but it's not cheap. So you'll see the timeline. Let's just hang on. System info this for you. 64 gig of RAM and 78 gig of virtual memory is the main thing. It's only an i7 though, and a 1070. I haven't upgraded the video card yet because good luck doing that at the moment. Yeah, so Abberton, we'll get you some proper swag. You're in Sydney still, right? Because if you're in Sydney, I can get that easily sent to you, the stickers and stuff that we use for B-Sides Canberra. Just send me a Twitter inbox and I'll... Yeah. Fair enough. Send me a Twitter. I'm probably going to be down in Sydney actually soon. I'm looking at doing a... visiting the team down there just to touch base. Wife and I are having another baby soon. I need to go and meet everyone, and like we got so many new starters there I need to catch up with before things go hectic. But alright, so I've got this transition I've put on, right, and you can see the effect. I'm going to play it and you can watch it in this area.
The first stream, easier one.
So that I feel came up too early, so I would drag it further forward. Probably a lot further forward. See how it's snapping? That's this magnet again. So I can either click it, but I just press S, turn the magnet off. I want it to come up before the scene transition because it's smoother. And I put a cross dissolve between the two, so that the two tracks fade together and behind the scene. So this is the background scene. And this is something I've only done on 2 or 3 videos. You'll see on older videos, I used to do a full screen wipe where the whole thing came. I find it neater and a bit more unique to just do the logo as my transition. So if I play this,
alright, so there's...
It looks, because of the cross dissolve, it ties the tracks together as much as it can with a fade.
Stream,
hang on.
easier one. Alright, so this...
Kind of jarring, but you get the logo to mitigate mostly. And I could if I want to tighten this cross dissolve to remove, you saw that like hand effect?
Easier one. Alright, so
you see how that goes away when I do that, but it also makes it a bit more noticeable. So I just play around with this. I get a bit obsessive with this stuff. I'm trying not to for the sake of stream.
Easier one. Alright, so
we might actually remove the cross dissolve altogether and just see how it goes. I think it was neater without that.
Alright, so
yeah, so it's a bit neater without it. But yeah, so I try and bring the logo in a little bit before.
Easier one. Alright, so
just because it drags your attention. And that allows the scene in the background to change without it being this overly jarring experience. And the screen wipe, I feel, is better for like an FF tutorial style video. I'm still doing the Axiom video, for example, where I do like a progressive switch to an entirely different look versus when I'm doing these more, I guess, lecture style videos. But what we can do, if you want to race for it, I'll put a Pentest Lab code in just to show you how I do those. And I'll change this before it goes live. I haven't done the bar for ages. I'm just thinking what I want to do with it, sorry. Top bar? Is it top bar? Let me just check I still got it on there. I don't have it on the clipboard, hang on. Here, look. For anyone who doubts how many, I get people saying, oh, do you actually give away that much Pentest Lab? Because I've done 25 grand worth. Here, I'll keep this. I don't want to show codes. There's some codes above this I haven't done something with yet. You can see this code, 857 is the number. It's a 3-month code as well. So I will, one sec. I'm just double and triple checking. I've got a really cool thing I'm doing with Pentest Lab that goes up tomorrow. I don't want to blow that code. So 1 second, sorry. And it's not. Okay, cool. So, where is chat? So I can see. Good site for forensic CTF. Probably Twitter that. I don't really know much about forensics. I'm entirely out of my depth on that. Twitter would know or would point you to someone who knows. And you can always feel free to tag me if you want me to just give it a bump. I would be happy to, because I'm pretty interested if there is something for that. I have built and helped conferences build CTS, but I always do like red teamy stuff. I'm just, forensics has never been my wheelhouse. I admire the heck out of people that do it. I think it's a very difficult field. It's, so we're going to do a bottom bar, or actually a top bar. Sorry, I didn't realize I grabbed a top bar in. I just need to see if the code's going to fit, which I think it will. Yeah, it will. There you go. NZNR, NENR, there you go. Whoever can snap that and grab it, it's yours. And I will put a cross dissolve at the end. So now what that'll do, I'm getting a little clever with the codes, to be honest. There's still a few codes per video. I don't make them this clear because people were just scrubbing timelines and nabbing them and they were going in like 5 minutes. So I've been doing different things. You can see on my Twitter where sometimes it's like a single frame and people still find them, but they take more like an hour and stuff to go. I'll do that in this video when I'm not online, but this one we can just do for demonstration. This is how I do the top bar effect. So the top and the bottom bars I built for FF style videos where I need to do a lot of editing notes, or I want to do like a command call out and I've got terminal on the screen. When it's me on the screen, it doesn't impact so much. The terminal is like a totally different consideration. So swag giveaway, not today. I just did, if you can get this code before, let's see if someone's got it yet. Where did I put Pentest Lab? 1 sec. Because they go quick. This is a 3-month code. No one's actually got this code yet, so you can erase for this one. You'll just have to figure out the I's and the L's. But if I play this,
you're net new to security.
There you go. It'll come up.
An interesting way to grow your skill set and to establish yourself as a hacker.
And then it's going to cross dissolve away.
You know, I mean, it's okay.
So you can see again, red line above on the timeline, so it's CPU processing, means that this isn't really previewing all that well because I need to pre-render it with, so I can hit enter and I can do that, but it's like at this point with this many essential graphics, a 10-15 minute task. I can also bring my socials into this scene. So if I go, and I'm going to turn the magnet. Oh, no. Code block there, social icons there. So you can see I can show both. Because they're alpha layered, I can build on top of my scene. And this is how I do, like, where there's a lot of complication in a scene, you can stack, like, video on video, or a central graphic on a central graphic. It's just going to make this part really slow to render. But, so to the scene transition.
So there's two ways to approach this. One, you're net new to security. You see bug bounties as an interesting way to grow your skill set and to establish yourself as a hacker. You want some sort of, you know, I mean.
There you go. So, cool. 404, let's have a look. Sometimes they do that when they're claimed, which is, I need to talk to Sif about it. It's still available, that one. You're just doing a I on L differently. So you can see it there. Yeah, I'll just put it in chat. Good luck. Go. It's a 3-month code. Please tweet when you get them. It helps me. I give away so much of this, people sometimes question if I'm doing it. I am legitimately doing it. And it's very useful to me when people tweet that they actually got the code. And it's part of why I wanted to show on stream, like there's 857 claimed codes there, because it's so frustrating when people are like, oh, are you actually doing the code? Yes, I'm giving away. Yes, I have given away freaking 25 grand a pen tester lab. It's a lot of bug bounty money that's gone into it. Yeah, it's really frustrating when people are like, oh, it's not, yeah. Anyway, I'm ranting. So we need to now, oh, why is this not? My audio track's too big. So you can see the audio that we built before is going to run out as well. So we're going to zoom out. We're going to click drag. The trick I like to do as well, used, let me check. Someone got it. Who got it? You got it. Yeah, someone got it. It's a 3-month one. You got to claim it, please. You got to save. You get that. It's a bit. See, this is when I'll stop doing giveaways, when people just ninja claim it. I don't know if the same people are taking them all the time. So, one sec. I just need to respond to someone on Twitter. Cool. All right, I can ask Sniff who got that and just make sure they haven't got one before I do that as well. So the audio, what I try and do here, you'll see I've got a scene transition, and if I hover over that, you'll see the audio track actually restarts before that point. So I probably won't do it here, but what I try and do is adjust my audio so the track restarts as the scene changes, because it, without using an external, like an additional sound, restarting the track connects you with the transition, because there's an audio difference that's not adding something you haven't already heard. So yeah, so they could take it, but you already had Pro. That was something we put in a while back. I spoke to Sneff when I did the massive giveaway, because people were just claiming multiple, and it's a roadblock to mean that you have to create more accounts. So it's and we also do check, like, well, he has checked on bigger giveaways for me, different things. So perks of buying in bulk. I'm just checking this one sec. All right, so let's just play the scene transition and work out what else we want to layer into this. Oh, that freaked me out. The track restart at the beginning. Okay.
The first stream, easier one. All right, so there's two ways to approach this. One, you're net new to security. You see bug bounties as an interesting way to grow your skill set and to establish yourself as a hacker. You want some sort of, you know, I mean, it's okay to be motivated by points on leaderboards and income and... All right, so I'm going to pause it there. You see how the track's going to run out? So we need to layer this again. So we're going to highlight this. We're going to zoom out, hold Alt, put it there, make sure the magnet is on, and I'm going to snap it to it. And that way the track's going to be consistent. That doesn't get us to the end of our track, so I'm going to do the same again. And just making sure they all got yellow effects. I'll do that. I'll move it away from it because I don't want to accidentally... Coolest bug ever, triage. Resell small bugs. Okay, so I talked about this one before. I'm just going to dive out with chat when it comes up. Resell small... My first incident. So I'm going to pour a report while we're talking because why not? When I first took on the security operations job, so I
on the top 20 at Bugcrowd, so I'm a pretty good hacker. I've worked as a pen tester for a few years. I feel weird saying pretty good. I feel I'm okay. Flew out to San Francisco for onboarding, and the first incident I had was because ReSalesMore P1'd with this amazing bug chain a endpoint. They patched it, and he P1'd it again. They patched it, and then he popped the build system they used to compromise it a third time. So the customer at this point's already paid like thousands and thousands of dollars twice over, and we're asking them to do it a third time. So my first ever call was, because if they don't pay it, Bugcrowd has the Make It Right fund, so it would have been a very big Make It Right, one of the biggest we've ever done. So my first call and was basically spending half a day just understanding this bug that he'd done and the history of all these bugs, because I just joined Bugcrowd, and then doing a call with this customer, which they ended up understanding and doing it. The whole thing had a different element to it I can't talk about, but they did end up paying it, and they did end up paying it quickly, which was good. But and I say incident because that's just a label we have. Incident's a bit of a harsh word. That's just a term that we wrap around it. But yeah, doing a call with a customer because he's bypass on bypass on bypass. I think ReSalesMore is probably one of the best hackers in the world, no question. The people I think are amazing are probably different to what a lot of other people think because of the triage queue. So it's a thing. Yeah. But I'm just checking chat and then I'll get back to this. Feel free to ask questions as we go too. A lot of fun stories like that. Difference between NCC as a pen tester and a Bugcrowd. I had a good experience at NCC. I'm not salty at it. The difference for me is vast because I'm managing a very large team. So I'm directing multiple business units, not just triage. So I have, I have a team of 45. So I manage an extremely large security team comprising of different functions, purely security, which is good. But that's to me a vastly different experience to NCC. However, it's also one I pursued. So I did an MBA and I studied business. I did management when I was a software dev. So I actively pursued that direction, so I can't complain about it. But you do miss being on the tools when you're in management, which is part of why I started doing the videos, because I wanted a reason to stay current and relevant. I felt that the longer I do management and purely management, the more I was drifting from community, and I needed something to drive me to get deeper, and streams is that. And trying to get back to authoring tools. So I want to start to author tools on here. So Duked, I'm going to refine on here. I'm working with FegSalt and someone else, I don't know their name, at the moment to port it to Python away from C++ so the community can contribute more. We'll do that on streams, and then whatever people contribute, I'll port back to C++. Just because it being C++, I think has hurt the adoption of the project a lot. But the biggest difference you have as a pen tester is that you're on a time box engagement. So you have to prioritize, you have to move on more. And the part I always enjoyed most about bug bounties was that I didn't have to do that. I could really, really sink into a program. My most successful program I spent probably 5 months on. I made about 34 grand in 5 months, but I made most of that at the end of the 5 months because I just understood so much about it, so much about the depth of it. Not the most I've made out of a program, but I say most successful because I just rained P1 after P1 at the end there, in a variety of circumstances. I got the badge of, forcing a program to close because you've P1 too much too quickly. That's a nice experience. But when you're a pen tester, you don't experience any of those. You're given, the most common engagement type I do as a pen tester is what you would call a 4+2 or a 4+1. So 4 days testing and 1 day reporting. And I would often get put on web applications because I was fully remote. I was never in the office unless I needed to be, because the office is a state away. I had to fly. I did go down for some stuff, but typically I was remote. And so I'd have to allocate my time and make sure I can get through all of the processes I needed to in that time. And it often means that you don't go into as many corners of an application as you'd like to. And it's not to say one is better or one is worse. I think there's something to be said for both models. The reason you see bug bounty companies becoming full service these days is there's something to be said for every approach. But as a tester, I think I personally at least find I find bug bounties more fulfilling. I don't know what you mean by that, Prashant. The chat's not showing everything, do you mean? That's annoying. I don't know why that would be. And XSS right here. Becoming a good bug bounty hunter is in large part back to... I think the principal mistake people make is they think it's all about becoming a well-rounded hacker in terms of vulnerabilities. The reality is that's only half the equation. The other half of the equation is understanding what businesses care about and how to talk to businesses. To be a very effective pen tester, bug bounty hunter, anything, to be as effective as possible, you need to understand what the business is, how the business is going to receive it. There's a vast difference between saying, hey, I can pop an alert 1 to, hey, I have XSS that lets me redress the page, or hey, I have XSS that lets me do an account takeover. Because when the business receives that report, not everybody that reads that is technical. That report that you write is going to go through multiple parts of the business, from auditors to executives to things like that. And it's something you learn quickly as a pen tester, because when you write a pen test report, you're not just writing it for the stakeholder, you're writing it for multiple audiences. You're writing it for the team that fixes it, the auditors, any sort of attestation, things like that. And how far can one go in bug bounty and cybersec with only experience, no degree? I hire people. I don't know who in my team has degrees and who doesn't. I don't think it matters. It's good to show professional experience when you're early in your career. It's less necessary late in your career. I don't think many people think very highly of infosec degrees, except when you're first jumping in. Experience, it carries you a long way, though. The thing you have to remember is that if your goal is red team and a pen tester, having a degree makes you more approachable for clients. If it's a firm that matters around that. NCC used to give bios and cares about certifications because it helps with customers, but degrees never really factored in. Most pen test firms will make you sit a practical exam to prove your ability. Oh, I don't know why they don't show comments pre-joining live. That's annoying. Thank you for telling me that, though. That's useful to know. I can recap things more. There was another question I wanted to grab. First P1. Let's have a look. I can't look because Bugcrad. I can't look easily. I'm on the wrong machine to author that. First P1 probably was a Java dump with Octa tokens in it that I can remember. No, I'm sure I've done something earlier than that. There's probably an XSS chain, to be honest. I've got a few videos I want to do on XSS chains that were P1s that probably should have been P2s, but they're paid at P1s. I have a few XSSs that were paid at $5,000, which people keep not believing me about, so I need to just do a video and prove it. But I did an account. I did a attack chain on a financial provider with an XSS that I paired with username enumeration. So I showed and I did this with Hackluke and Sajid Lahani, SML555. Yeah, there'll be a video. There'll be a video. It's just explaining the bug chain's complicated, but the essence of it is that I showed a one-click account takeover. So you click it and it takes your account takeover, and I submitted it with a username enumeration bug that would show I could email every user in your system this attack chain, and if even only 1% click it, it's going to change all their account properties and make them look compromised. And that was paid as a $5,000 P1 with a $2,500 bonus for 75 grand. 7,500. 75 grand would be nice. 7,500. Which was around the time when the exchange to Australia was wonderful too. So that ended up being something like 12 or 13. It's pretty good. But a lot of those bugs tend to be chains. The most valued bugs are when you're creating impact, and a lot of the time you create impact from a bug chain. So it the more you can prove to the business that it matters, the better. Like it's a skill that I think is not very well understood. I think the people that are even the people that are making consistent returns, not everybody's doing it, and they're costing themselves money without realizing it. There's a vast divide in that. So I'll do another pen test lab in a bit. I just did a 3-month code. They're like $100. You know, they're not cheap. They're the most expensive. I don't even know why there was a 3-month there. I don't tend to buy them as 3 months anymore, but I must have. Have I even got codes to still get? Let me just check. I got to buy more soon. I am talking to some other providers about codes as well. I'll probably start to do some hack the box and stuff. I spoke to Hack the Box about a year ago about doing a bulk buy, and they couldn't do it back then. But now they've not IPO, they've Series A, and they've got capital to invest in engineering. Maybe it's different. OSCP codes one day. Maybe when I get to like 20,000 on this channel, I'll do it. I'll do a bulk by there. I have a bit of a bone to pick with OSCP. I don't like the exam structure. I think it's toxic. So it may not be OSCP. It might be eLearn or something that I want to support more directly. OSCP is very overrated as well. So I don't own Pen Tester Lab. I met Louis at B-Sides Perth. I think he bought me a beer, but other than that, there's no reciprocal relationship there. I just genuinely believe he's built something awesome. It's practical, it's cheap, it's just really good. So yeah. Criteria for joining Bugcrowd is AppSec. I set a pretty high bar, but it depends. A lot of the people these days are ex-pen testers, mostly because of the way I've been building the team, but I also spread the team geographically. It's over 9 countries, so depends where we need P1 coverage around the clock. So it depends where we want to build P1 coverage at the time. There's a bit of industry trick to that I can't give away. It's I think the mistake people mostly make when they approach me for a job is they don't take care with their writing style and their grammar. And as an ASC, the principal qualities in an ASC is communication, right? The driver to hiring Katie and Farah is that they're amazing communicators and they're amazing educators and also have amazing technical experience. It's the perfect qualities for good ASCs. If you're applying for an ASC job at any bug bounty firm and you can't demonstrate good communication through that, you're going to fall below people that do. So it first guy in Nepal, maybe not. Might have someone there. I don't think so. Yeah. But I don't think we have anyone in Nepal. No, we don't. We don't have anyone in Nepal. Sorry. Or at least I don't think we have had previously either. Let's keep doing the edit. Let's Jadix this time? Maybe. I don't know a lot of the history on that. Well, it's possibly. Alright, so let's snap the audio. So we're going to make the audio consistent. So this is our audio loop that we hear. So for anyone who's newly joining, you can hear that. We're going to go back to the video. I don't remember where we're at. So we'll play from this. Can we snap this? We're going to snap that to the beginning of the logo. I'll explain this in a sec. I just need to get all of this. Oh, I actually could have just used A. So if you do... No, I couldn't have. Because it'll do everything. I have to use V. That's annoying. A will select everything to the right of whatever you click. Alright, so if I snap this to the beginning of the... So I'm syncing this up. See this line? I've snapped the audio to go to the beginning of when the logo appears. And the reason I'm doing that, if I bring the audio back and make it clean, if you listen to it, and I don't know how loud it is, let me mute the audio bars for a second. If you listen to this,
first stream, easier one. Alright.
So you hear it sounds like the transition is doing an effect. It's actually not. It's actually just restarting the track. So it's a little bit neater than using other elements to create effects and transitions for audio, which I think is a good trick. I'm just trying to stop and catch up with the chat as we go. Chat here didn't work. That's surprising. Mine went pretty quick in chat. Alright. Let's keep editing. So we're going to play from here and work out the next... This is an area that's a core part of the video, the beginners part. To be transparent, I'm not really thrilled with this video, but I didn't want to throw it away. I'm probably going to dive into the where to begin topic a little... Oh, I haven't had this up full. There we go. I'm going to dive into the beginners topic a little bit deeper of where you should hunt. This is mostly a guiding part to pair... Yeah, this is mostly a guiding part to pair with the blog article I did on this subject. I want to do something probably with how to actually find authorization-based vulnerabilities. I just need to position it carefully because I've got so many other things I want to do first. So let's keep going. Let's play. I am going to save first because I'm in the beta of Premiere and it's a pain.
So, there's two ways to approach this. One, you're net new to security. You see bug bounties as an interesting way to grow your skill set and to establish yourself as a hacker. You want some sort of, you know, I mean, it's okay to be motivated by points on leaderboards and income and what have you. Whatever your motivation is, you're net new, you found this industry. Congratulations, it's awesome, and I'm happy to have you here. If that's the case, then Sturk put out a video this week. I suggest watching that.
Alright, so let's cite Sturk. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I speak to him quite a lot. I'm just really bad at saying his name. So, the video that I'm referring to there is this one. Oh, there's an ad. One sec, sorry. This video. So, I want to cite this. I need to think about how I want to do it. Which... I think we'll do a lower thirds. Which... Let me... do a messy hack. I haven't done a lower thirds before. Lower third... Let me just experiment with this. And we'll have some fun. Alright, let me bring the right back. So, if I import... How do I want to import it? Let's... Just thinking, so... Don't give me a copyright strike? Yeah, maybe. Don't think you would. We're good friends. You wouldn't. It's frozen again. I think what I'm going to do, there's a lot, so a lower thirds, so you got, if you think of the screen split in three, I'm going to put on the bottom here, Sturk, and then put his socials above it, I think, just for something different, and it'll let me in this video, this stream, show off how to do glitch animations a little bit different to when I'm using my After Effects stuff, because I feel like that's a bit cheap for me to just show, because that's a much higher, that's harder if you're starting out. So, I bought... And I'll show you. For the live overflow edit I did, I came to here, a site called Motion Array, and I bought glitch. I'll see if I can find... I don't really want to log in because it'll show all the ones I use, but somewhere through here there's a glitch pack. So I bought a glitch pack, and that I'll show you how I use it. If I... Oh, it's locking up again. I'm trying to right click for context. Alright. Just checking chat, sorry. Twitter's the way to go. So if I go Stoke. So I'm going to drag. First I'm going to just get the timing and get the positioning right. And then I'm going to cut it and I'm going to do the glitch. So. This looks like I'm just photoshopping him on top of myself. I don't know how neat this will look if we do it. I think that's going to look like crap, actually. Let's maybe do something different. We won't do that. What I wanted to do, I'll do the effect just to show you what I wanted to do, but then we'll ditch it and make it look good. So what I wanted to do is do this, cut it at both ends, go to effects, go glitch, and I've got the glitch pack here, glitch shake, and just put them either side, and then I was going to put his socials on top, but I think the face in the face doesn't look right. So this is what it, just for what I wanted to demonstrate, but then I'll do the proper thing. So if we play it now,
and I'm happy to have you here. If that's the case, then Sturk put out a video this week. I suggest watching that.
Yeah, that's not affecting, so that effect is not working very well. We'll do a different one. There we go. It's too long is the problem, actually. I should cut this shorter and do it with that. So if I do this, I'm going to remove this, so I'm not too worried about undoing and getting it right. So what I'm doing is I'm cutting it, I'm putting an effect that's affecting the cut, and then it's flowing into the main image. So if I play it,
happy to have you here. If that's the case, then Sturk put out a video this week.
It looks terrible. Let's just, you can, basically the essence of what I'm showing here is, I I can cut tracks at different points, put different effects. I don't really know which. I haven't used. This is sorry. I realize it's under the camera now. I haven't used this glitch pack to know which ones I want to use each time, so I need to just get used to it. But I'm going to use my After Effects stuff. So
you're net new. You found this industry. Congratulations. It's awesome, and I'm happy to have you here. If that's the case, then Sturk put out.
All right, so that's the point where we want to introduce it. So we're going to do one of my image glitches here. And I'll click into it to see it. I will click it to change the variables. So this is all built in After Effects, which allows me to reuse it. And before I do that, I'm going to edit the Stoke image on the other monitor. I'm just trying to catch up on chat too. Input classes, cut. 1 sec. I'm just going to edit the Stoke image to be more of a portrait. Let's show my fancy editing, graphic editing skills. Voila! MS Paint. So let's go like that. See? Fancy. Totally used Photoshop there. I didn't just cheat with MS Paint. Nobody saw that. So we'll go like this. We'll go scale to fit. And we'll double click this. Oh, a good trick. If you're ever in this window, let me bring this full. If you're ever in this window and you can't click and do your resizes here, click the main sequence that you're editing. Sometimes it'll get stuck on the asset itself and it won't work. So part of the problem I'm going to have here is positioning, I think. Let's just play from there.
You're net new. You found this industry. Congratulations. It's awesome. And I'm happy to have you here. If that's the case, then Sturk put out a video this week.
Cool. So that's the point where we want to bring socials in. So if we go to here, then I have to time it. Because what I want to do is I want the image to come in and then I want the socials to come in. It's more engaging than do it all at once and the effect's kind of over. So if I click the socials, I'm going to go into the socials to position it. I need to find a point where they both exist. And I'm going to resize it once I get it set. So let's go look up Sturk's socials. Because I don't know it off by heart. I think it's just Sturk Frederick. I'm so sure I'm butchering his name constantly. So we're going to do... That's Twitter at least. Let's check the rest of them. Make sure YouTube's the same. And if it's not, then I'll do 2 of them. I'll layer them on top of each other. Just to make sure I get this right. Videos. Oh, pro tip for that. Let's do the top monitor. If you ever want to get... So if you go to someone's YouTube channel first, you'll see they give you this link. You click videos and that's how you get the other one. So it is the same, but he's formatted it nicely here. So I'm going to keep it as... Oh, it's all caps anyway. What am I thinking? So there we go. It's all caps anyway. So I don't think that is him on GitHub, but we'll just double check. It is. There we go. Though he doesn't really use... So this is just a process I go through. If I ever cite you in a video... Gonna ban you from the stream. Not gonna ban you from the stream. No. If I ever use you in a video and you wish I added a different social, let me know. Because I automatically just try and... I don't tend to have time to ask people, so I just include what I think they care about. Too much. Sorry, I swallowed tea really badly. Although I don't think that... Oh, chase it with port and see how that goes. Alright. Although I don't think... Sturk doesn't contribute to GitHub, he consumes it a lot, but I don't think he cares about gaining socials on GitHub too much. And I'd rather drive people to the socials that they care about. Not that he needs it, he's much bigger than myself, but I'd rather drive people to the socials they care about. So I'm going to cut that. And then I'm just going to check Twitch. Some people I know like automatically, but some people I don't. I've got to check. And Twitch, he's got 865 there. He has used it in the past. Not using it as much now, but look, let's keep it. So we'll leave that as is. So we've got YouTube. I don't know if he uses Facebook actually. I'll probably take Facebook off just to keep this clean because they're the main ones. I'm just going to check. Facebook. Nope, it's not the same. So his Facebook's not the same even if he uses it. So Facebook pages anyway. So we'll just keep it as those. So now we're going to position it underneath the image. So if I go back to here and apply it.
You found this industry. Congratulations, it's awesome. And I'm happy to have you here. If that's the case, then Sturk put out a video this week. I suggest watching that to see all of...
There you go. So you see why I stagger it? So it does the image, does the socials, I separate. With any sort of videos that I'm introducing, I try and do that. So, cool. So I'm happy with that. So we've now got that. Now we have to check out exits. So if we go to the effects, we're going to get a cross dissolve. For the socials, we don't have to do it with images. Images exit. The trouble with my essential graphic is the images exit sooner. So they're probably going to exit like here. And I want to, let's just play.
The free resources out there and start there. And I also should suggest looking at his previous content.
There you go. So that was neat. I managed to gain that in pretty quick. So that's that part done. You'll see again red on the timeline. So because I've used these essential graphics here now, I can no longer GPU render this. This is now only CPU rendering, which is why when I'm doing this preview
in the bounty
from so that's why when I do the preview from here,
you found this industry. Congratulations, it's awesome, and I'm happy to have you here. If that's the case, then Sturk put out a video this week. I suggest watching that to see all of the free resources out there and start there. And I also should suggest looking at his previous content.
Graphics into outrender, you can't with essential graphics. So essential graphics are you can't GPU render them at all. So I do use GPU, so you can see all the yellow lines here. You can't actually do that with essential graphics. And XSS right here, training. My YouTube channel is the main area I'm doing that. I'm not going to do a course, I don't think. And there's certain things I won't cover, largely because of the nature of my job at BugCrowd presently. If I do this is how you do Route 53 takeovers. I knew how to do that before I was BugCrowd. I do it now. Not everyone can take my word for that. And so it's not appropriate for me to cover it, even though I would like to. And if I was still at NCC or as a pen test, there would be things I would cover that I just can't. I've got handcuffs on me. I have to... The ethical guiding principle for me is I don't want anyone to ever think that I've shared something that I received on the queue. Because it's very important to me. Basically, people have to trust BugCrowd. And if they don't trust me, that renders badly onto BugCrowd. And so I can't risk that. So... I'm just checking chat. I think we're good. Yeah, if you do a giveaway in your local community group, Aberdeen, let us know. I'll get you BugCrowd swag for it. That'd be cool. Or ask some of the growth group. Android security. Farah's done some good stuff on it. I think she's planning to do more. I'm not very good at it. Like, mobile's not my strong suit, so I haven't really dived into it well. I have very good people on the team that are amazing at it, but yeah, I would start with Farah's videos. I know she's put a lot into those, and that'd be a good foundation. I wish I had better advice for that. There's just some things I'm not very good at. So, BDAC, how you say it? I haven't seen that. Hacking Simplified, actually, I didn't know we covered that, so I should have a look. Yeah. So these kind of things, you know, I mostly focus on web and tooling, just because I don't have time for a lot of other things. There's so many things I wish I was good at. Same for anyone in the security. No one's good at everything. Everyone's got the area they wish they were better at. So, yeah, I have to check out BNext content. I haven't really seen it. If I wasn't into hacking, what am I doing now? So I played poker for a living pre-security. I'd probably be either still a software dev or back to that world. Actually, I doubt I'd be doing... Professional poker player worked before I had a family. Wouldn't work today. Same reason I chose... same reason I took a job at Bug Crowd and didn't do bug bounties for a living. I made 157 grand part-time if bug bounties in a year whilst a pen tester. So I genuinely could have done it for a living, but have no desire to. And I'm in the middle of or about to publish a written piece on what it takes to do bounties for a living and considerations, leaning on what I knew doing professional poker. It works very well for some seasons of life and very poorly for others. If you're, you know, my wife doesn't have the same risk tolerance as I do. So professional poker and bounties, it creates a different barrier. But yeah, if I ever exit security, I'll probably go back to software dev or something for a few years. I don't know. Genuinely don't know. I've never really known ahead. So, all right. So let's keep playing and let's see where we can add new effects, or if we just want to cut. So we've still got. So we're on 2 of 4. So we still need to keep doing scenes and building it up. So the bad habits I mentioned at the start, a lot of people probably weren't here. I've done all of this on one sequence on one layer. Well, not one layer. There's multiple layers here. I've done all of this edit on one sequence. That's a very bad habit. And each chapter that I have 2 chapters here, should have been nested sequences. So I should have made a main sequence, another sequence for chapter 1, another sequence for chapter 2. I'm just not very good at doing that. I find it hard to. I find it hard to do because I'm just not in the habit. I'll get there eventually. So let's play this to the end. Aman asking for Pentest Lab won't make it come quicker. I'll do it randomly.
Is largely to look at authorization-based vulnerabilities for a few core reasons. Largely, they scale with you as you become better as a hunter. They've got a technical and a business element, and they're really only valid in points where there's risk. An authorization vulnerability needs to demonstrate risk. If you can perform an action unauthenticated, you should perform authenticated, and it's sensitive in nature, that matters. And exploring these vulnerabilities will start to teach you what matters to a business, as well as the common mistakes that are made in this area. And they often don't dupe as high as something like XSS, simply because...
Right, I probably want to cut that bit. I'm not happy with it, but we'll see.
The impact is varied, but XSS, for whatever reason, gets misrepresented.
Yeah, see, I said this in the... This is one of those things I said as I recorded, and I thought back, I was like, I don't think it's quite correct. And I looked at some data, and I don't agree with it. So I'm going to cut this bit probably around here. So, probably.
Demonstrate risk. If you can perform an action unauthenticated, you should perform authenticated, and it's sensitive in nature, that matters. And exploring these vulnerabilities will start to teach you what matters to a business, as well as the common mistakes that are made in this area. And they often don't dupe as high as something like XSS.
Yeah, that's the point we want to cut.
And they often don't...
So Prashant, the OSCP being overrated, I'll qualify it. OSCP doesn't leave you ready to be a pen tester. So it doesn't, or at least the old version of the exam, maybe they've changed it. The exam itself, the boxes aren't connected. So it doesn't really teach you how to perform it. You're performed to produce everything in a 24-hour window, which isn't aligned with a 3-day test, 4-day test. And you don't touch Active Directory or any of the other elements that matter to a test. You're doing a very outdated... There's only so much I can say with the exam. You're doing a very outdated process for one part of it that doesn't apply with modern operating systems. And it's kind of a bad representation. I understand why they do it, to show that you do it, but you literally could just follow the exam book and pass that part. And you're doing boxes that aren't connected and don't really bake in reality for what you experience on a pen test. And what it's resulted in is a lot of people who feel they're ready to be a pen tester who just can't get a job. Yes, Active Directory included recently. That's good to know. I've been thinking of just seeing if I can buy a reset just to see it, because I interview a lot of people and I don't put stock in OSCP except for knowing how to think like a hacker. I don't look at it as, hey, you're ready to be a pen tester at all. So would you agree with me on that, Luke? Now that you're here, Hack Luke, OSCP is overrated in terms of making you ready for a pen tester. But all right, So, I lost where I was going to cut that. I think it's here. Sorry, I'm just reading chat as well. Gonna learn to balance this better. All right.
And they often don't.
So I'm going to cut this here. So all of that end bit, I don't like. I kind of talked about XSS and how it relates to authorization vulnerabilities, and I think when I'm talking about beginners content, that doesn't make sense. So when I recorded, yeah, it doesn't cover everything. That's it. There's more study to do. Hack the Box is very good. I like that. The Hack the Box, like Raster Labs and stuff as well, is pretty amazing. But yeah, so this is one of those things where like you'll sit down, you'll record, and you'll be like, "Hey, I'm happy with that." Even before earlier in the stream, sorry, I gotta full screen this. We even went through the preview section here. Oh, it's freaking Premiere is doing its thing again. We went through the preview section, we edited that clip, and then I'm second guessing it. So I'm just gonna cut it. I want to make the intro for beginners bit short, concise, to the point, and a lot of it relates back to, hey, we're redirecting people to Stokes' recent video because it's already covered that to a greater depth than I was happy with. So it's more about a redirection. Whether this video still survives or not after this, I'll decide in post. But I think we're ready to go to the third phase, so we can do the same process. I'm like, and Premiere's locked up again. I need to fix this before the next one. All right, so let's go to the third one. So we're gonna go full screen. So every time I'm going full screen, I'm hitting tilde. So I'm doing this. I'm gonna set. You can see there's like this burst at the beginning. I don't think I need it. So.
But what about if you're a pen tester?
Yes, I say but twice. So I'll go to there. I'll press I. Oh. I'll press I and see it's highlighted everything to the right. I'll come to the end because I'm assuming that's where I'm going to do it. And I'll press O. And so now I can go back to my preview. And I'm just going to play this through. You can see these bars here. I can click and drag if I like down here. I can click and drag these if I want to adjust that input-output zone. It's just a lot easier. I'll throw one out for the code. Hang on one sec. There we go. Just for the XSS. That was funny. Yeah, I'm going to put this back on stream now that we've got more people. Because, like I said, I do actually give away this many Pentest Lab. Here's 857 of them gone. So, I don't own a... Woo! That's just... There you go. 857. I don't have a stake in Pentest Lab. I don't own Pentest Lab. I buy them. And Sniff does match and do different things like that often, but I've put a lot of money into it. So... Alright, so let's play this through. The one in chat is a valid one. The other ones I've got a code. I'm being very selective. I hope that wasn't it. Not to give away because I'm doing something specific with it and I don't want to... Good. I didn't leak that code. Watch my Twitter tomorrow. I have something funny if we build it in time. Hang on. I need tea. When are you gonna stream, Luke? Or when are you gonna get back to videos? I feel like that's you've moved now. You got no excuse. Awesome. I'm glad you got one. That's good. Next month. Awesome. That's really good. Much hype. I'm just checking. Alright, so let's so we've set input output points. We're going to preview this, make sure we're happy with it, and then we're going to put it on the timeline and we'll go through the same audio balancing process as well as the transitions and things like that. So I know that's repeated, but to emphasize, I think this one will be able to do more with the audio effects than we did with the last one. So let's play this from here. And of course Premiere's locking up.
But what about if you're a pen tester? What if you can already hack? What if you don't care for needing to learn how to hack? You just want to leverage and make some cash. So in that case, if you're an established pen tester and you've got reputation to lean on, you should chat to the programs. You can get fast track onto programs. You will need data points for that. A lot of people come forward and say, hey, I can do the thing. and they've got no proof they can do the thing, and then they can't do the thing. So you're going to need some sort of social proof point. Having just a resume as a pen tester probably isn't enough for that. Just having the title of pen tester doesn't mean someone can hack. And I know as an industry often we're like, oh, that person's a pen tester, they must be an amazing hacker. It's often not true with the variety of firms and quality that comes into it. It may be different if you're at a well-regarded firm, or you've done some talks or something like that. The difference there being, if you're someone who's written tools, done papers, done presentations, you've got proof points that you can hustle, for lack of a better way of putting it, approach the platforms, get fast tracked on some invites. If that's not the case, then the first thing you need to be learning is recon as it pertains to bug bounties. It's an entirely different skill set from recon as it pertains to an external. If you're a pen tester and you're doing an external, you're only looking for point of time recon. And I recently did a piece with security trails on this. But the part you need to learn and you need to develop is tracking points of change in a business. It's not a skill set that comes into pen testing unless you're on a long-term red team, in which case this video probably isn't very useful advice to you because you're far further along the road. And learning how to track points of change is where you're going to learn how to most effectively deploy your skill set to start getting traction and movement on the bug bounty space. And same as the newcomer's advice, I strongly recommend getting involved in this community, learning what it's about. There's a whole fascinating range of elements from it, from the number of private groups that share good information to the number of public groups that share good information, videos, everything. The more you get involved, the more you network, the more opportunities become available to you. And that's not to make it sound elitist. I think by nature, that will always present that way. That's more to say, if you're providing value, others are willing to give you value. And the more you understand how to do both give and receive on that, the better and more effective you'll be at deploying your hacking skill set, which ultimately leads to more revenue and opportunity.
All right, so I look down. So I actually want to cut my...
Which ultimately leads to more revenue and opportunity.
So that's the point I want to actually go out. Before I look down. So you see at the end there, I kind of do this jarring look down. I'm going to stop there and press O. So I've now moved my output point to that. So it's going to cut there instead of cutting where I previewed. And I can probably tighten that up in here. So you see how I got there. I'm using the arrow to go a little bit further to the left, and I can go output there. I'm using the audio. So this is full screen with tilde. So I'm pressing audio, going full screen. Go back to video. And if I drag the video in, it'll bring the video and the audio. So Pentest Lab should pay me. Pentest Lab bought me a beer. I mean, I was in Perth. Louis bought me a beer. Seems like fair payment to me. It's and this is locked up again. I'll fix this before next time. I think I needed to restart before I started this. So I'm gonna, first things first, my audio track, I want to extend, but it's done it again. You see the end point of my last scene? I've got the magnet on, so it's going to snap. What I want to do is sync this track to the end of that video. And the reason I do that is so when I transition, you can see there's a slight delay there, but when I transition the audio later, it's going to have a good sound effect around it. So when I'm duplicating my audio, I want to make sure I'm duplicating past that point because this track here is shorter than all the others. So I'm going to just quickly hold down Alt, duplicate my background track so that I've got it for later. And I'm just going to create excess for that because it allows me to get to the end of the video. And the in and out, you see how this is maximizing, minimizing. I'm holding Alt and scrolling so I can scrub. And that's letting me move around the track really cleanly. So now I can press tilde to close that. I'm going to use the bar to maximize it. And yeah, Abberton, ask whatever you want. I'll see if I can show it on this timeline if it makes sense. I'm not sure if I'm going to publish this video yet. I'm not really happy with it. But yeah. Audio and video is two different stuff, so merge them together. I don't. So that's when, and I'll show you now. I actually balance the audio here. So it's locked up again. Let me just wait for it to catch up. All right. So when I drag my track in, Buckrad Hoodie 50p1s. I've got that one somewhere in this room. That's not a good answer, is it? Yeah, I don't know. I actually only got my first bug rad hoodie at 50p1s. Luke might know. He's in chat. Another way to do it. There you go. But yeah. Streaming setup. This is all OBS. I'm not using stream elements or anything like that. And all the effects are built in After Effects. So if I restart, well, there you go. Socials is restarted now. That's just the video loop. Same with the top left that you see. And then the camera, when I do this to this, it's the same camera. I'm just using multiple layers to crop and do it differently. I actually only have one camera going. I'm just doing a bit of clevers there. Where I'm doing an embedded scene on OBS so I can crop. I learnt that somewhere. So it's yep. Cool. All right. So we dragged this track in, didn't we? We did. I'd have locked it again. It's very annoying seeing it lock up like this. So Abberton, what I'm doing, if it maximizes, so I can show you easier. It's just very slow. I've got issues with it at the moment. I don't know if I can show you this effectively. All right, so if we go to the audio, it's not too bad actually in this one because I shot it in continual takes. But you see this yellow FX? This means I've got a filter over it. This one being gray means I don't. So I'm pressing G. I'll go normalize all peaks and I'll set it to -3. And I'll hit enter. And so you see, I'll do that again. Watch the track here. You'll see it's dropping the track. So it's creating a cohesion between my two tracks. Because I play these back to back, I want the audio level to sound the same. And unfortunately, there's not enough dramatic difference in this edit to show you. But some edits, so the live overflow edit where I got like 20 different videos from 20 different people, I was spending my time balancing audio there versus doing it in Audacity or something like that, just because I don't have a lot of skill set in audio and I can get by in this. I know there's definitely better ways. There's a product in the Adobe suite for audio that I do I have it? Let me have a look. It is called I don't think it's, no, it's definitely not Lightroom. I don't remember what it's called, but there is a suite in the Adobe suite to do audio specifically. I've never put time into learning it because with YouTube, I haven't set that bar very high. So, if you can socially engineer Bugcrowd stuff for that, Prashant, you deserve the hoodie because that means you're getting past like Hack Luke, Sajib, and myself through the Bugcrowd program itself. I would be impressed. Hoodie would be much earned. We would give it to you with pride. But please don't social engineer the team. It's not encouraged at all, and it can lead to a ban. So I should cap you that. But yeah, let's go back to the edit. So same as before, we want to create the transition. So I'm just getting my scroll wheel back so you can see. So the audio restarts already. So if you listen real quick to this, I'll mute the background music.
As well as the common mistakes that are made in this area. But what about
so you hear the track loops back to the beginning. That's just my background track. I'm not doing anything except for that to do my transitions, because I think using a secondary audio source for a transition is jarring, but restarting my loop, something you're already listening to, still creates an audio difference to connect with the transition, but without disconnecting you from the video flow itself. Potentially I'm overthinking that. That's entirely possible, but that's my intention behind it. So now we'll do the, if I can save, where'd I put the effect? This is the trouble of not organizing this project properly because we had the problems in the beginning. I might have to re-import it just to use it here. Transitions, there we go. I could have just grabbed it off the timeline actually. So I have these wipes that I used to use, like I said, but these days I just do the logo. And I'll do a crossfade, a cross dissolve between the two tracks. So the logo will come up at front and in front of it. And the cross dissolve, so if I scroll in, Cross dissolve is an effect that ties these two tracks together and gives them a bit of a fade in the background. So because the logo layer is above the other, it's not going to get affected by the cross dissolve. You can see it's only stitching those two tracks. So if I play this, see it's too soon. So I need to shorten the cross dissolve.
This area.
And I need to move the logo forward. I might even remove the cross dissolve on this one. It's too jarring.
Made in this area. But what about
A little better. So you can see the trouble is the audio is a little bit off, but it's not terrible. But I can go back to the beginning here, play this.
that are made in this area. But what about
Not too bad. I actually do want to go back to the last one, and I've got this impact greater than everything I want to do as a call out to somewhere around here. So I'm going to play from here and find a point to put impact greater than everything.
Matters to a business. How do I generate impact to a business? As you...
There you go. That's the point. So if we go... How to trick me and get hired. Show you can hack really well. That's what you did, right? Alright, so let's put an image glitch in. This is an After Effects link I've got. And I'm going to replace this. And Adam, I'm using your graphic now, actually. This is the point. I just need to... I think I've got it in Assets. Impact over everything. Yeah, see? Adam, you got me already. Let's see what that looks like here. I didn't realize it was alpha layered, actually. I probably would have changed that before this, but that's alright. I'll change that later.
To a business. How do I generate impact to a business? As you round out, you learn these different things. And if you're looking for a bug class to start with to help establish and explore that,
too long. So that's too long. So let's cut maybe that much out and hope that I didn't override a glitch.
Learn these different things. And if you're looking for a bug class to start with to help establish and explore that,
I think that has to stop sooner again. Let's just one sec. Yeah, transparent SVG. That's alright. It's easy to fix. I'll do it later though. I'm not gonna jump into Photoshop now when I'm already having performance issues with the machine.
As you round out, you learn these different things. And if you're looking for a bug class to start with...
See, that's a good point. So there you go. So... the downside of this... So see how I've cut this and reduced it? The downside of using Essential Graphics this way is now if I want to resize it, I've got to resize both cuts, and I end up doing it in the effect controls up here, which is a lot slower. I can probably do 40 on both, because I do think it's too big. And we'll see what that looks like.
Business. As you round out, you learn these different things. And if you're looking for a bug class to start with...
And I know that looks a little bit off. I think that's because it's not a vector graphic, is it? So I might have to do some work on that. But that's alright, we can do that later. That's not too bad. So we're now pretty happy with the edit here onwards. We've got the audio mostly pushing through. And we're just going to test this transition once more and then see if there's other elements we can put into the existing hackers portion. But cool, let's do that.
You should perform authenticated, and it's sensitive in nature. That matters. And exploring these vulnerabilities will start to teach you what matters to a business, as well as the common mistakes that are made in this area. But what about if you're a pen tester?
See, this is why I don't want to keep this video. That's a really jarring. Boom, cut. I need to reshoot that part. So I'm not going to do that now, but this is where time goes. So having done all of that, getting that scene to that point, I now need to reshoot it. And there's no real way around it. I'm not happy with the full thing. Even having done that edit, I'm not happy with it. So that's where it comes back to. This video is going to need more work, you know. So I can't release it today. But that's just what happens sometimes. That's why some weeks there's just nothing. And then suddenly there's like 3 in a week. Because that's how it works. So... That's, sorry, I'm just checking the Twitters real quick. Cool. All right, let's keep going. So we'll just treat it as if that scene's fine. to get a little bit further on. I'll probably call it soon, but just for the sake of demonstrating different concepts. If there's anything you want to see specifically, feel free to let me know and I'll try and work it in. So same as where Abberton asked for audio leveling before, we did that. So we can introduce that as we go. But yeah. If this stops locking up all the time. Just yeet it into prod. Maybe I should. I'll probably publish it unlisted to go with it. I won't publish it to subscribers, but I might publish this unlisted. And how many screens do you use? I wish I could move the camera easily. So this monitor's to my right. That's a 24-inch. Just checking what I've got in the other one. This one's up top, so it's actually mounted above a 43-inch monitor. Or 49-inch, I can't remember which it is. I have the same one Luke has, so if he can remember his, I can remember mine. But it's mounted above that. And then there's other ones on other machines around, but that's the main one. So there's a 43, a 24, and a 24, which is my main work area. And then there's a KVM switch, so I can swap between like bug crowd work and personal work with the push of a button. I can go, okay, lunch break, I want to jump on Twitter for a bit, I can push a button and do it. Although I do a lot of things in VMs as well, so I tend to have like a VM here and there. So I'm a bit paranoid. I don't like to run Discord natively or Slack natively. I'd rather do it in a VM because hacker by the name of Menstrual made a lot of us Australians very paranoid about Electron apps because he's just crushed them to the point that I'm never running them. Never ever going to run an Electron app in my host, ever. So, second desk, that works too. I have another desk over there. My wife used to do bug bounties with me for a bit. So, alright, let's play.
What if you can already hack? What if you don't care for needing to learn how to hack? You just want to leverage and make some cash. So in that case, if you're an established pen tester and you've got reputation to lean on, you should chat to the programs. You can get fast tracked onto programs. You will need data points for that. A lot of people come forward and say, hey, I can do the thing, and they've got no proof they can do the thing, and then they can't do the thing. So you're going to need some sort of social proof point. Having just a resume as a pen tester probably isn't enough for that. Just having the title of pen tester doesn't mean someone can hack. And I know as an industry, often we're like, oh, that person's a pen tester, they must be an amazing hacker. It's often not true with the variety of firms and quality that comes into it. It may be different if you're at a well-regarded firm, or you've done some talks or something like that. The difference there being, if you're someone who's written tools, done papers, done presentations, you've got proof points that you can hustle, for lack of a better way of putting it, approach platforms, get fast-tracked on some invites. If that's not the case, then the first thing you need to be learning is recon as it pertains to bug bounties. It's an entirely different skill set from recon as it pertains to an external. If you're,
I'm just checking that's not. Yeah, that gift is gone already. That was quick. So just for the chat here, please don't talk about this Alfia yet. Watch Twitter tomorrow. I'm gonna do a code that 1 in 500 will work. 499 chances to get a rickroll. So 1 in every 500 times you'll actually get the code. And it's the reason it's taking so long, and the reason I didn't have it for this stream to drop, is to make it so you can't just jump in intruder and brute force your way to the code. I'm trying to get a lot of roadblocks and coordinating with Pentest Lab to make it awesome. So that'll be fun, something different. One of the perks of having bought so much Pentest Lab, I can get some engineering time. But it's also quite fun because I've done so many codes, people expect just to be able to click and claim it. So it'll be good. We'll see who actually gets it, see how long it actually lasts, because I think most of them are gone in 30 seconds. It's why I did reverse strings and base 64 and stuff like that, because I actually think people are scraping my... I don't know. I suspect that people are scraping my Pentest Lab for codes because I started to go so quickly. And I'm glad you got it, Mr. Root. That's awesome. Thank you for also... yeah, 500 tabs. That might do it, but it's also a 1 in 500 chance. It's not actually... You have no guarantee. You just have a 1 in 500 chance. So... yeah, it should be good. And yeah, that was a legit pentester lab URL. Here, look, I'll put this on stream once more. Just so I have something to link to. I like legitimately have given away 857 pentester labs. You can see they're all swiped through. It's yeah. Yes, I have actually done it. It people doubt it, but yeah. All right. Let's wait for this to unlock. There's a point here I want to put a code call out to the security trials blog article I did. So let's play and find that point.
You're a pen tester and you're doing an external, you're only looking for point of time recon. And I recently did a piece with security trials.
All right, that's the point. So let's go security trials. I have to find the link. Here it is. So I got the link. So I'm going to go to my essential graphics. I'm probably going to use a learn more code block. So if I drag that in, and this is, you'll see the default settings on this are janky just because it was built for the FFuff video and I've never gone into After Effects and fixed it. Probably will after this, but if I move the camera, you'll see I'm putting variables in. So I'm putting the URL in there and I'll move the camera back. Let's just go over here. The block height, I need to, one sec, I'm just going to tweak. I have so many lockups. So the block height is this gray area. So I'm going to fix that. And then I'm going to change it to a learn more. And I could do custom labels and stuff with this. It's all very flexible and good. A triage no dupe, congrats. That's awesome. It's Surface browser, yeah, I'm probably going to do something with them for that. I've been talking to them and using it. Luke's done a tool for security trials I recommend looking into as well. And I believe an interview with them recently as well. But Surface Browser Pro is freaking amazing. And it's one of those tools I'm taking a while to learn before I do video. At the moment, I've got in the fire, I've got a Vim video that I have actually finished, but I'm not publishing because of all the toxicity that got thrown at Katie overnight. So I don't want to publish it. It was originally going to be next week's video. I don't want to publish that at a time when people are taking digs at Katie over Vim because I think that's bullshit. People shouldn't be doing that. And I don't want to look like I'm piling onto that. So I'm delaying the Vim video. I've almost finished an Axiom video, which I've been redirecting. And the next stream I do here, I'll be doing the interlace edit. So the interlace edit I've done once before, but I want to re-edit it. I've just got so many irons in the fire. It'll be a little while till Surface Browser Pro gets covered. And there's also one I've done on building and using a VPS, like how to properly set up a SOX proxy for your Burp Suite instances, how to properly set up Mosh, things like that. Just the general tricks to a VPS. I couldn't really find anyone who had documented it well, so I have that coming as well. But and then eventually I'll get into bug classes. I've just been enjoying the content around it more first. I think it's got more value. I think there's a lot of stuff on bug classes already. So yeah, Interlace definitely needs a tutorial. I want to get Sajib on that stream with me if I can. Because he and I co-wrote it together, and it's a good. It's a good way to pay homage to it. I just need to edit all of these OBS layers to make that work. But yeah, I'll do the edit live. I've done the shoot. I've just got to do the edit. So, like, let me show this folder. All the stuff that's like incomplete edits is like all here. There's a lot of it. So, some of it's come out actually since, but XSS tooling and escalations is probably the first like bug class one I'll do. I've got some cool bug chains for XSS that Sajib, Luke and I did together that I want to cover, but I want to talk about how to do a chain in general. So, and Nano and Vim. I actually bought an iPod Nano to chuck in the bin for my opener for the Vim video. Literally bought an iPod Nano off of eBay just to throw it away. That's how much I think of Nano the editor, that I'll spend money to make a joke at its expense. But, jokes aside, I just prefer Vim. I've never learnt Nano. I'm sure it's amazing. Yeah, once you learn Vim, you kind of fall in love with it. So So let's check this fly out. Let's see how it goes.
Pertains to an external. If you're a pen tester and you're doing an external, you're only looking for point of time recon. And I recently did a piece with security trials on this. The part you need to learn and you need to develop is tracking points of change in a business. It's not a skill set that comes into pen testing unless you're on a long-term red team, in which case...
All right. So two things. That's too long. So we're going to cut it shorter. It runs into the next thing I'm talking about. So I'll cut it there. And it just cut. So I'm going to go to effects. I'm going to go to cross dissolve. And I'm going to put cross dissolve at the end. So if we redo this. So the cross dissolve is what makes it fade away. So if you do a cross dissolve without another track to the right of it, instead of blending to the track that's hard up against that, it just blends into the nothingness. So it fades it off gently. So cross dissolve is a really useful effect. Sorry, I'll move the camera. You'll see up here, I've just typed cross in effects, gone down to dissolve and picked up cross dissolve. Quick, easy to remember, but it's probably the most useful way to do it. So now that we've got that, let's quickly test it. But I think we're happy with this section.
And I recently did a piece with security trials on this. The part you need to learn and you need to develop is tracking points of change in a business. It's not a skill set that comes into pen testing.
Yeah, that's cool. That's fine. So people can pause, like, the general rule for length for me, I don't try and have it long enough that you can copy it, but long enough that you could pause it when you think of it. So a bit of a delay, because you don't always think to pause a video and go to something straight away. I don't put links in the description. I don't recommend you put links in the description because YouTube algorithms tend to ban, and you can, that's not saying you get permanently banned or striked. You can get them removed. The community is really, really good. You don't have to worry about losing your content if you're making ethical content. But if you put links to various hacking content in your descriptions, you're likely to get a strike or a removal at some point that you then have to appeal. It's just a hassle you can do by not putting it in the description. Primary reason I started up a blog, so I can do blog entries that pair with my videos that have all the links there. So it's yeah, Alt F4 to exit Vim. I challenge you to go and do that on your VPS and see if it quits Vim for you. So every time you log into the VPS, you'll be like, oh no. Anyway, bad joke. I need more drink. Just catch up on chat too. Oh, use Vin is the best. So Sajib Lahani went to a live hacking event, I think in San Francisco. I can't remember which event it was. He went to a live hacking event for Bugcrowd before any of us worked for Bugcrowd. And Luke and I came up with this great plan to social engineer the hotel desk and leave a message for him at the hotel desk from Kevin Mitnick telling him to use Vim. And so he went to check into his hotel. So he's flown from Australia to America. Like we social engineered to get the hotel. I don't remember if we social engineered Bugcrowd or Atlassian was the event, I think. I think we tried to social engineer Bugcrowd for it, but somehow we got his hotel. I don't remember if we social engineered him or Bugcrowd at the time. We got his hotel, rang the hotel and just said, look, I just want to leave a message from Kevin Mitnick, message for Sajib Lahani when he checks in, telling him that he needs to know to use Vim for his presentation tomorrow. Because Sajib is staunchly against Vim and Luke and I are very much for Vim, and at this time we were trying to convince him to use it. And so the hotel left this message for him telling him he has to use Vim, and it became a hashtag. Like, he got a photo. He in turn managed to social engineer the hotel to allow him to get a photo of the screen that had all of their information so he could get a copy of the message for Twitter. But it was somewhere in the Twitter archives it's there. But that's how use Vim started for us. It's just this hilarious like chained event because he's jet lagged, flown 14 hours to have the hotel tell him he has a message from Kevin Mitnick as he checks into a live hacking event, which is pretty funny. Just good fun, It's I have to do something like that again. I don't know if we've done something like that since. But yeah. All right, so let's play the end of this, and then I think we can do the outro and call it.
Testing unless you're on a long-term red team, in which case this video probably isn't very useful advice to you because you're far further along the road. And learning how to track points of change is where you're going to learn how to most effectively deploy your skill set to start getting traction and movement on the bug bounty space. And same as the newcomers advice, I strongly recommend getting involved in this community.
learning what it's about. There's a whole fascinating range of elements from it, from the number of private groups that share good information to the number of public groups that share good information, videos, everything. The more you get involved, the more you network, the more opportunities become available to you. And that's not to make it sound elitist. I think by nature, that will always present that way. That's more to say, if you're providing value, others are willing to give you value. And the more you understand how to do both give and receive on that, the better and more effective you'll be at deploying your hacking skill set, which ultimately leads to more revenue and opportunity. So you can see at the end there, it cut without that look down that I did because we cleaned it out earlier. So there's all those, that's where the input output on your preview is really important, because when you shoot, you'll record, you'll feel happy with it, but you won't think about the post record point. And the input where you do the eye and the input on the preview is important because it allows you to do a couple of false starts and then get going without having to just hit record, hit stop. You can get in your headspace. Sometimes I keep those things in too. If I'm like I do that a lot for some reason. I don't know why. Just sometimes keep it in. If it adds flavor to the video, why not? You don't have to cut everything out and make it cold and static. Something you can keep in. You forgot the % Aberton. and /G. All right, let's shouldn't pick on that. Okay, let's do the outro now. That's the last piece. I don't think I'm going to publish this video to subscribers. I'm not really happy with it, to be honest. I think the advice is, a lot of these I make and I don't think the advice is punchy enough. I think it's just a rehash of my blog article. I need to go back and think about it and redo it. I won't do this edit again on stream, probably because it's just going to be boring to do it twice, but I'll do the interlace edit next time. The main reason I want to do that is because it's got the terminal involved and it's got all my background. So if you want a quick look at what that looks like, just for diverging really quick, how I do all that. Let something slip for bounty shit. Yeah, that'd suck. It's I did that on Ben's stream when I was there. When I did the live recon, one of those, there was actually a P1 in there that I'm still really exploring, but there was an expired there was a name server in the reverse whois that was actually expired that was tied to a bunch of assets. And I registered the domains associated with it, the top level domains, dumped a heap of catch-all mailboxes on it, and I've had logs coming in since. So yeah, I've done P1 on a stream before. It's just no one realized I Slack messaged him on the side and quickly registered them while I was on the stream. If it's on his video, you can probably pick the point, but I actually pulled on the second monitor I was on. I think I went to DreamHost because I had an account there already to quickly register it. But fun times. So sooner or later, I'll drop something. It's not intentional. So, and Sylvia, if Sylvia gave me 0 days, I wouldn't use it on stream. I'd be enjoying the heck out of them. So, all right. So my backgrounds, you'll see in the FUF, I don't know, however you want to say it, video, this animated effect a lot. So this is done in After Effects with JavaScript. You can get, and you can, if you want to steal the JavaScript, go to kadingo.com. Let me bring this up. You'll see, wow, there we go. I should just you'll see it's not quite the same dimension. The same thing is here. If you want this, it's a Hugo blog. You can get everything on GitHub. Here you go. But in After Effects, you could use JavaScript, create an effect, and then give it variables. So I can now go to my, which you have to render it. You have to do a heap of clevers. That's really underselling the difficulty here. But what it means now, for every video where I want to do that, I've got prescribed colors, or I can pick a color. Well, it's got the, let's say aqua, and do it. So that you'll see in like my terminal videos, I'll put the terminal on the top of this. And the way I'm just doing that is I'll put and I'm just closing windows on this top monitor here. I'll just put a VM with a terminal and I'll record that. And then I'll take that and I'll picture in picture. Like I'll put that layer above this one. So you've now got the background animating with the terminal in the middle, but I've actually not built the terminal with the background effect. I've done it all in post. And so investing that time initially for the FUF video allows repeated use of those assets long term. So that's pretty cool. The dumping in the B-side CBR conference menu, was that this year? Because I know he did. I know Silvio did that in 2018 or 2019. The old venue, not the convention center. The one I don't remember what it was called. I really don't remember. The one where we would sit outside a lot. That doesn't really describe it well. But the last venue before the convention, I know there was 0 days in that conference book. Yeah, my context is it's too long ago. Too long ago. All right. At the Rex, there you go. It's too hard to remember these things. That just made me miss RuxCon when you said that too. No more Rux. Oh, there you go. Yeah, I didn't go this year. I know you know that, but I'm still sad about that. All right. So first thing I do. All right. So let me back up. We've dragged our last track, our outro, up to the preview here. We can swap between the audio and the video. And that doesn't mean that we're just editing one part. It edits as a collection. If I click and drag the audio icon, I just drag that. It'll only bring the audio down. If I click and drag the video icon, it'll just bring the video. And if I click and drag the screen, it brings everything. So I can edit this as a piece in this preview and then choose what I want to use. So if I was doing a podcast edit in here, or, you know, I just wanted to reshoot something and just reshoot audio for like a terminal preview, then I can just drag the audio. And that doesn't really happen in these kind of videos. But if you're making a tutorial that's using the browser or using the terminal, you might do the audio again later on. And so it's good to know you can just drag it and do that without having to do all this messy layering around the place. So, yeah, RuxCon. 2018 was the last one? Maybe 2017? I don't remember. I do not remember. Ways. Okay, so let's keep going. Oh, it's locking up again. Seems every time I click off it, it will lock up. There we go. All right, so let's full screen this. So we're gonna go snip the beginning, snip the end. I feel pretty confident on the outro that it's just a single shoot, so I'm not gonna. There we go. All right, snip the end. So just to not make this too repetitive, I'm gonna then just drag that in, play it, and make sure it's right. But before I do that. And I can always cut it here too. So the cutting tool, if I press C, it goes to the cutting tool. So I don't have to cut it all in the preview. I can cut it live on the timeline. It's just really messy. And it's a lot easier to do it in preview and scrubbing. But when it's something I'm pretty confident in, I can do that to speed me up. And at the end, I get a bit impatient. So I'm going to press G. I'm going to go normalize all peaks. And for anyone who's just joining, this is probably the best trick you could take away from today if you're doing shoots for audio. So let's bring the audio up. So you can see the new track is a higher peak than the old track. And you see the yellow effects here? So that means it has a filter. This one doesn't have a filter. So if I play it, you may be able to hear the difference. I doubt it'll come through on stream, but let's just play it at that join point here. So I'm just going to mute the audio bars. The more you understand how to do... Okay, that's going to go a lot slower than I thought. I'll go closer. Yeah. We go, yeah. Leads to more revenue and opportunity. And so, in essence, you know... So you hear that goes way up. It's so much louder. So what we can do now is we press G. We say, take all the peaks and make them -3 decibels. So -3 decibels, they're all going to be peaked at that. And we go, okay, watch the track here on the top. You'll see it flattens it out. So now these two tracks are at the same audio level. And that'll work if my microphone was here. If my microphone was here, wherever my microphone lives, because if I shoot over 2 days, you know, I move this out of the way at the end of each day. So it's going to sound totally different today to tomorrow. Not totally, but a difference enough that you want to flatten out and do some work on that. So let's go back. I hate that the scroll bars, every time you change view, you got to readjust it. I wish it would preserve a full screen view and a... there we go. All right. Okay. So, I'm just catching up on chat as I go. Sorry. Oh, I'll start the bars again. I have to build more of these bars. So the bars you see on stream are actually built as videos, and it's looped 3 or 4 times. I got to get some more. I'm using Stream Beats, which is free audio, a copyright free audio guaranteed, or whatever the guarantee is. Harris Heller builds it. Cool. All right, so let's play the last bit of it. Oh, we're locked up again. Well, we're not locked up, it just won't play. Let's try again.
Give and receive on that, the better and more effective you'll be at deploying your hacking skill set, which ultimately leads to more revenue and opportunity.
Alright, so now we got to do all the audio thing again. So it's actually really close here, the audio. I'm probably not going to cut that to line up with this because you'll hear it twice. So this beginning piece that I'm talking about, so locking up again. All right, so you hear this beginning piece, the top bit. If I cut and do my audio trick here that I do, it's going to sound horrible because you're going to hear it twice. So I'm just going to leave it as is. I'm just going to do my transition. So I'm going to go to my bin for that when it actually unlocks. It's like the further I get in, the worse it's getting. See how it's snapping? So I'm going to press S to turn this magnet off because you'll see this magnet icon over here now is turned off. That means I can free drag this with no snapping, which lets me tune this in a bit more. And so that one's actually clean too. You'll see the way that snaps because I've got it here, it's a lot closer to the beginning of this audio. And the background doesn't need a cross dissolve. If you look at the background, it's not that jarring. I'll try it anyway, but I think it's going to make it look worse. So short cross dissolve.
To more revenue and opportunity. And so in essence, you know, short and sweet. If you're a new hacker,
I'll probably keep it as is. I don't think that's too bad. But so that's where I like, you can get a bit obsessive tweaking that. I tend to come back at the end and retweak before I publish. Something you should also note, you see this bar up here. If every time you're rendering your video, it's not rendering all of it and you're getting partial, it's these in and out. So you remember, well, for some of you that were here earlier in the stream, we were setting input and output points on the main timeline. That also carries into Media Encoder. When you render this video, it's respecting these input output points. So before you exit the project to go render, you need to save and set that in the right point. The best way to do that is to turn the magnet back on with S or click it and just snap it to the end of the track. So I don't actually need, if I don't want to clean all this junk audio at the end out. I will, but I don't have to because Media Encoder is going to stop at that point. And if I decide I want to tack something else on the end later, I've already got the audio there and I can just push it out. It also allows me to, if, you know, I just want to render part of it and go in, out, go to Media Encoder and just render that, or I can hit enter. And I strongly recommend getting involved. Click on the timeline. Okay, it's not working. There is a way to... Oh, I know why. Sorry, it's playing instantly because there's no... It's GPU. If there was red here, not yellow is all GPU, it's instantly rendering. All the red points from my central graphics use CPU rendering. So if I go input, output, enter, it's now going to create a buffer and green line that. We can probably... It's going to take too long. Now, see, it went quick as it hit the GPU part. It went slow as soon as it hit the CPU part. And so, unfortunately, that is the downside of working with essential graphics. You can't do GPU rendering with them. And that's just by the nature of they're using variables. They're powered by After Effects, things like that. So you have to render. That's why my transition is a pre-render. So I don't have to do that every time. Because if that was so this one, if that was that being a video as opposed to being another After Effects essential graphic means that I can just drop it in and use GPU rendering. So, and Leonardo, it's not too bad. A lot of this you don't have to do. The main things I would take away is audio balance. You just press G, normalize all peaks, -3. Do that across all your tracks. They'll be balanced. It's not the best way to do it, but it's the quickest way if you wanted to get a quick way together. Click and drag your tracks up to the top part to preview edit them and go press I at the point where you want to start. O at the point you want to end and drag it onto your timeline and use the effects panel to do effects between if you want to. There's a lot of nuance that I'm showing here today for anyone who watches this later and wants to watch it a few times and take away and try different things. There's different things I'll show in future streams with this area that we haven't touched, particularly this area here. An area I want to iterate my own content that I haven't learnt deeply yet is and I've been watching and reversing different streams. So if you watch Philip DeFranco's videos, he does a similar format in terms of speaking to a camera. And there's edits in there of slow zooms and transitions in the actual, like not full transitions, but slow zooms and different cuts that you can do. And I'm learning how to do it that I'll do in future videos. And I intentionally, although I started learning it, didn't want to use it in this video. A, because I am embarrassingly bad at it at the moment, but B, because I don't want to overcomplicate the first stream with it. So that's the outro. We're pretty much done at that point. We'll just play it back, see if we can add any links, but I think we're finished.
Opportunity. And so, in essence, short and sweet. If you're a new hacker, there's a lot of good free resources. Stirk has a really good video on that this week. I suggest checking out. And start to look at authorization-based vulnerabilities in those systems, learning how to explore business impact. If you're an established hacker, then either approach the platforms and say, hey, I'd like some opportunities, I'd like you to fast track me on some programs, or learn the culture and the approach for recon. You'll find that it's also, if you're a pen tester, you've got a passion to learn, and this is an interesting area, I think. Recon gets a bad rap these days, perhaps unfairly, because there's so many... perhaps unfairly because a lot of the noise is scripts and a lot of the signal is useful tools, and it can be harder to dig into until you're really diving in. But if you dig into the signal, which you'll see through something like Stoke's Bounty Thursdays, you'll start to see there's actually some really useful tools here that can carry into your day job. If you're a pen tester and you haven't explored things like FFARF or AMAS or any of that yet, you're going to really enjoy diving into that and finding the utility of that when you do your next external. So all of that, hope you enjoy, and I'm open on Twitter for questions. I'm passionate about both sides, beginners and people churning in. Hit me up, either inbox me or tweet at me. I'd love to chat. And all that said, have a great day, and I'll see you on the next one.
All right, so I'm just going to put one last touch. We'll do the Twitter socials. There, yeah, we'll just do it to the end. Although I think... There we go. One sec. I haven't read chat for a little bit, sorry. I will in a sec. There you go. So we'll do the Twitter socials. We'll nip this track to the end. And then I'll probably render and post this. I'm not going to post this to subscribers because I think the content... I'm not unhappy with the edit, but I'm unhappy with the content. I don't think it's punchy enough. So I may not. I think I'm probably just going to publish this so people can see the output played in full, because I think sitting here for 7 minutes playing it is probably not the best use of everyone's time. So I'll render this tomorrow. I'll put it up. I'll change the pen test lab codes. You know where they are if you watch the stream through. You can race for it. Yeah, I'll put it up tomorrow. But I'll probably do the next week's edit on Interlace. Not sure what time yet. I'm going to change my time around a bit in the beginning, just experiment. I want to try and hit different time zones and see what works. But when I go live, I'll put it on Twitter, and when I go offline, I'll kill it on Twitter so you know when it's up. But all of that said, thank you very much. And any last questions, put them now. Otherwise, I'm going to start to wrap up. And I will quickly show, before I wrap up, media encoder and what it takes to render. Pentest lab voucher. Yeah, let's do one last one. Hang on. I'll put it up at the end and you can screen cap and race for it. So, vouchers. I have to make sure it's not the one I'm using tomorrow. One sec. I don't think it is. Alright, I have a 1 month. I'll use that. Okay. Alright, so last bit, and then we'll put the code in the chat. This is media encoder. So I believe you can render in Premiere. I don't know. I'm pretty confident you can render in Premiere. I render in Media Encoder. And I'm using the beta, so my settings won't carry over. We'll figure it out as we go. So adding the source, the pre-release, which I think... Ah, except we used the live overflow video. I'll have to... Hang on. Yeah, because we had problems in the beginning, so we upcycled the live overflow video. Really hope I can get that back. That was a good edit. One sec. RAM, 64 gigs in this machine. I don't know how much I've got set for I don't actually know where to check that. If you do, I'll have a look. But I believe it's mostly CPU that's causing the problem. Although this problem I'm having now doesn't happen when I'm not streaming. So I need to dig into that particular problem. Although I'm really open to tweaking some settings if you got ideas. Alright, so that problem I said before, right? The input output. I have to set that. Adobe Premiere crashed. Hang on. Woohoo! Alright. We have to reopen Premiere and hope that I can remember which project it is. 26. Sorry, it's gone to the top monitor. Cool. All right. So you see this bit? This is the in and out. I've got the magnet on. What is it officially called? So I can refer to it properly. I've never learned. All right. I've got snap on. That makes sense. Easy name. So I've dragged this to 0000. I'll drag this to the end and everything lines up. I then save. And I then go to Media Encoder and add the source. Media Encoder remembers the point when you added it. So if you make changes in Premiere and then render after, but you didn't re-add it in Media Encoder, it's rendering your old changes. This has caught me up. I actually published an old edit once without meaning to. And it was so frustrating to me because I'd done so much extra work. I can't remember which video it was, but it inadvertently kind of meant I published old work and I didn't realize until post. It was the one where I did the like editing call out and I pop in to say, hey, in post, I actually want to do the citation. I made that look so much better and I lost the work. Well, I didn't lose it. I've still got it. It just, I rendered the old version of it. So this is the live overflow one. So you can see I've got so many channel preview timelines in here. I believe we're just registering main. So that's it. So then I'll go, so the animated GIF is because that GIF I put on Twitter earlier, I made in Premiere and then I rendered. So you can make GIFs in, so the, if you look at my Twitter now, because I'm going to delete it afterwards, you'll see this live, now live thing. I made that in Premiere and rendered it that way. So, but I want H264. And I'll just do match source and then I won't click the go button here until I'm off stream. But keep in mind, if you use the beta, if you're using the beta of Premiere to edit, you have to use the beta for encoding. The main driver for using the beta comes into Essential Graphics that I'm using. There's not many other reasons to use the beta, but to do the animated Essential Graphics that I do, you need to. Although that may not be true if you watch this video later on. At this point in time, the stable version doesn't have that feature. And it's one that I make heavy use of. Just because it's a clean way to get stuff from After Effects into Premiere. But yeah, edit preferences, select memory, and the preferences dialog box. Let's have a look. Let me bring that monitor up. Thank you. Optimizing for performance. I mean, I have 52 gigs shared there to Premiere now after Encoder. I think it's probably not the main cause. Good thought though. Shame. That would have been that would have been too easy, right? If it's like 4 gig or something. Oh well, can't do much about it. But anyway, all of that said, I'm probably going to call it here. I'll put that last code in chat and I'm going to call the stream. Thank you very much for everyone that's stuck through and anyone that's here now. I'll tweet the video when it's rendered. It'll have to render overnight. It's 11 p.m. here, and I've got a 5 a.m. start tomorrow, so I'm going to call it. But I'll put it up, and we'll go from there. But cheers, and have a great day.